Chapter 1359. Wei Zhengsheng felt that something was wrong. If that Xiao guy could call out Zhang Zhen's name, then he must have seen Zhang Zhen. Now that Zhang Zhen and the others were nowhere to be seen, Wei Zhengsheng started to believe Qin Feng's words. He was annoyed by Wei Changming's incessant questions. He suddenly roared, "Shut up! You said that Xiao guy was lying. So why did he lie? Was he looking for death? Then where did Zhang Zhen and the others go? When are you going to use your brain?" Wei Changming didn't dare to make another sound. Although Zhang Zhen and the others were nowhere to be seen, he still didn't believe Qin Feng's nonsense. That was the Horseman gang. How could they be wiped out so easily? Wei Zhengsheng walked faster and faster, and his thoughts became more and more chaotic. He had already thrown Qin Feng's matter to the back of his mind. There was an even more troublesome problem that had tormented him for several days. After a while, Wei Changming couldn't help but complain, "Father, isn't it just that Xiao guy? You don't have to be so worried, right?" Wei Zhengsheng glared at him angrily and said, "What do you know? That Xiao guy is nothing." Wei Changming was stunned. "Father, then what are you worried about?" Wei Zhengsheng had spoiled his son too much and allowed him to stir up trouble outside. He almost never told his son about the important matters of the family. But now that he was facing a matter of life and death, Wei Zhengsheng couldn't let Wei Changming do as he pleased. "Stinking brat, let me tell you something serious. Now that the war between Distant Ice City and Meteor City is imminent, the experts of the Sacred Gate have already been dispatched. I'm afraid that they will come to our yamen in a few days. At that time, they will definitely ask me to lead the young men of the village and town to war. If I die in the chaos of war, you'll have nothing to eat." Wei Zhengsheng's words scared Wei Changming silly. He didn't have to worry about food or clothing since he was young and was used to the life of a young master. He didn't even know how to cook or wash clothes. If his father really died, what would he do? "Father, don't scare me. You can't go to war. You could just stay in West Town." Wei Changming was naive. Wei Zhengsheng angrily shouted, "Who do you think I am? You don't have to go if you don't want to go. The Sacred Gate's experts are so powerful that even the Distant Ice City's castellan has to listen to their orders. I'm just a county magistrate. You better prepare yourself. If the Sacred Gate's people really come, I'll give you a huge sum of money. You should run for your life by yourself." This was the case in the Divine Great Land. Two cities often fought with each other. Once they fought, people had no way to make a living. Even high-ranking officials like the county magistrate or even the prefectural magistrate would be ordered to lead troops into battle. Wei Changming's body went soft as he sat on the chair in a daze. This news came too suddenly, and he was completely unprepared. The atmosphere fell into a cold silence. Wei Zhengsheng sighed continuously and became more and more agitated. Wei Changming, on the other hand, was racking his brains to think of a solution. He did not want his father to go to war. If that happened, his life as a young master would be completely over. "Father, I thought of a good idea." Wei Changming suddenly jumped up. This sudden action gave Wei Zhengsheng a fright. When he regained his senses, Wei Zhengsheng glared at his son with a cold expression. He didn't believe that this kid had any ideas. "The Sacred Gate wants the officials to go to war. If father isn't the county magistrate, won't you be able to escape this calamity?" Wei Changming continued. Wei Zhengsheng's expression changed. He didn't think about this, but he quickly rejected his son's idea. If he resigned now, even if he could keep his life, he would become a lowly commoner in the future. That would be a fate worse than death. He might as well do it now. "If I don't want to be the county magistrate, you can go beg on the streets. Even a vicious tiger wouldn't eat its cubs." Although Wei Zhengsheng was a wily old fox, he only had one son, Wei Changming. He would rather go to war himself than let his son live a poor life. Wei Changming thought about it and agreed. He would rather his father die in battle than to let him live on the streets. However, Wei Changming didn't dare to say this out loud. Otherwise, he would definitely be beaten to death by his father. "Father, I have another idea. Since I can't resign, I can just find an imposter to replace me. When the expert from the Sacred Gate bring the imposter to war, you will still be the county magistrate, and I will still be the son of the county magistrate." One couldn't help but say that Wei Changming had too many ideas when it came to survival. Wei Jingxing's eyes lit up. This idea isn't bad. However, now that 20% of the county is in chaos, who would dare to be the county magistrate? Wouldn't that be courting death? Wei Changming's eyes spun, and he immediately said, I got it. Let's find that person with the surname Qiao. Isn't he here to receive rewards? It's obvious that he is someone who covets money and power. Father can say that he made a great contribution and let him be the county magistrate for a few days. If his performance is good, we can give him a job as a constable in the yamen. Wei Jingxing's expression changed. He had always looked down on this son of his, but he didn't expect his son to come up with such a brilliant plan at such a crucial moment. After careful consideration, Wei Jingxing also felt that this idea wasn't bad, and he made up his mind. The guest room that Qin Feng and Hua Xiaojun stayed in was not bad. There was a double wooden bed, a dressing table, and a wooden tub for bathing. Hua Xiaojun sat by the bed and felt like she was dreaming. Young Master Qiao offended the county magistrate's son, injured a bailiff, and even talked back to the county magistrate. In the end, he was hosted by the county magistrate. This was simply unimaginable. Young Master Qiao, I have a feeling that the county magistrate and the others are up to no good. Why don't we escape in the middle of the night? Hua Xiaojun's expression was filled with worry. She wasn't afraid of being bullied, but she was worried that young Master Qiao would suffer. Of course, Qin Feng knew that Wei Zhengsheng and the others were up to no good. However, he came to the yamen to find out the whereabouts of the Spirit Beast sect. According to Zhang Zhun, the Sacred Gate would send people to the yamen to summon them to battle. Qin Feng planned to stay here for the next few days. Xiaojun, don't worry. If those people dare to do anything bad, I won't forgive them. Qin Feng spoke as if he was talking about a trivial matter. After staying with him for so many days, Hua Xiaojun had already sensed that Qin Feng was abnormal. He looked like a poor commoner, but he had killed many martial artists. Hua Xiaojun couldn't persuade him anymore. She hurriedly ran to turn on the water for Qin Feng. She tested the water temperature with her hand and helped Qin Feng change his clothes and bathe. These days, Qin Feng was already used to being served by Hua Xiaojun. Especially when he bathed every night, he didn't need to do anything. Hua Xiaojun took care of everything for him. Qin Feng lay naked in the wooden basin. He didn't care that Hua Xiaojun had seen everything. Hua Xiaojun carefully helped him bathe and asked, Young Master Qiao, this lowly servant has some questions. Ask away. No need to be polite with me, Qin Feng said. Hua Xiaojun finally gathered her courage and said with a voice as soft as a mosquito, Young Master Qiao, where are you from? What does your family do? You seem very powerful. Are you a martial artist? Hua Xiaojun immediately regretted her words. She was just a lowly servant. How could she ask about her master? Before Qin Feng could speak, he heard a burst of crying behind him. He immediately became depressed. Xiaojun, what's wrong? However, he heard the crisp sound of a slap. Hua Xiaojun cried, This lowly servant deserves to die. This lowly servant shouldn't have asked about my master. Please punish this lowly servant, young Master Qiao. Hua Xiaojun slapped herself twice in a row. She had no intention of stopping. Qin Feng jumped in fright. He hurriedly turned and carried her into the bathtub. Only then did he realize that Hua Xiaojun's clothes were wet from the warm water. Qin Feng didn't care too much. He grabbed the girl's hand and looked at the red fingerprints on her fair and clean face. His heart ached. Xiaojun, did you forget what I told you before? You're not allowed to hit yourself in the future. Qin Feng was a bit angry. Hua Xiaojun trembled in his arms and cried even harder. She found that she always made young Master Qiao unhappy. At this moment, she wanted to bang her head against the wall and die. Seeing that she was frightened, the anger in Qin Feng's heart dissipated. He hugged Hua Xiaojun even tighter and touched her face. Do you really want to know about my past? I'm afraid it'll scare you. Hua Xiaojun shook her head and then nodded. She was really curious about Qin Feng's identity, but she didn't dare to ask again. Qin Feng saw that Hua Xiaojun's clothes were wet and stuck to her body. He was afraid that she would catch a cold. Go change into some clean clothes first, then I'll tell you. Only then did Hua Xiaojun realize that her clothes were wet. Moreover, Some parts of her chest were exposed. Her little face flushed red, but she didn't leave. Instead, she took off her clothes in front of Qin Feng. Xiaozhen. Qin Feng jumped in fright. His gaze was fixed on her. So Xiaozhen's figure was this good. Hua Xiaozhen lowered her head and said in a small voice, "Young Master Qiao, I heard that many young masters like to bathe together. Can this lowly servant accompany young master?" Hua Xiaozhen couldn't continue. She was so embarrassed that her body was about to burn. Qin Feng hurriedly calmed himself down, but he didn't let Hua Xiaozhen leave. He let her continue to help him bathe. Qin Feng told her about his situation. He was unfamiliar with the people and land of China, so he really wanted to find someone to talk to. He believed in Hua Xiaozhen's loyalty, so he didn't need to hide anything from a woman. After Hua Xiaozhen listened to Qin Feng's story, she was dumbstruck. She covered her small mouth with both hands to prevent herself from screaming. Her eyes were about to fall into the bathtub. After a long time, she opened her mouth and said, "Young Master Qiao, why you're not from here?" Qin Feng nodded. He knew this was too shocking. Hua Xiaozhen needed a lot of time to slowly digest it. Hua Xiaozhen was really stunned, and she was very scared. So young Master Qiao was from the outside world. He came to China to take revenge and take away a few friends. When the time came, young Master Qiao would have to go back. Hua Xiaozhen thought about it, and tears flowed down her face. She didn't know what she should do in the future. "Xiaozhen, what's wrong?" Qin Feng looked at Hua Xiaozhen baffled. He thought that this woman couldn't be crying, could she? Hua Xiaozhen bit her lips and didn't speak. She didn't want to say what was on her mind. Chapter 1360. Early in the morning, Wei Zhengsheng brought a group of people to Qin Feng's room. Hua Xiaozhen had just finished washing up and immediately ran to Qin Feng when she saw the people. "Young Master Qiao." Qin Feng patted Hua Xiaozhen's shoulder to calm her down. He looked at Wei Zhengsheng indifferently and said, "Magistrate Wei, you came to find me early in the morning. Are you going to reward me?" Qin Feng's words made everyone speechless. "You beat up a bailiff, bullied young Master Wei, and talked back to the magistrate yesterday. You still want a reward? Is there something wrong with this brat's head?" Hua Xiaozhen was very nervous. She thought these people were looking for trouble. The bailiffs didn't know Wei Zhengsheng and Wei Changming's plan and looked at Qin Feng with playful expressions. But in the next moment, everyone's smiles froze. They even suspected that there was something wrong with their ears. "Huh, young Master Qiao guessed correctly. This magistrate is here to reward you. I hope I didn't disturb your rest." Wei Zhengsheng smiled amiably. Even Qin Feng was a bit suspicious. Hua Xiaozhen was dumbfounded. Her mouth opened and closed, but she couldn't say anything. Wang Long and Li Hu's eyes fell to the ground. After a while, Wang Long came to his senses and said, "Magistrate, why you want to reward that bastard?" Wei Zhengsheng glared at Wang Long coldly and scolded, "You lowly servant, how dare you question this magistrate's intentions? Do you want to teach me how to do things?" Wang Long was so scared that he almost knelt down. He wondered if Magistrate Wei took the wrong medicine today. Li Hu and the other guards were also at a loss. But after seeing Wang Long's fate, they didn't dare to say anything. Everyone lowered their heads and stood to the side. Wei Zhengsheng once again piled a kind smile on his face and walked to Qin Feng's side. "Haha, young Master Qiao, it's my fault for not disciplining my subordinates. Please don't take it to heart." Qin Feng had long seen that something was wrong with Wei Zhengsheng today, but he couldn't guess what he was thinking. Qin Feng didn't expose him and pretended to be stupid. "Magistrate Wei, you don't have to be so polite. I'm here to receive my reward. The Horseshoe Gang is considered a large gang, and I fought to the death to completely annihilate them. I wonder how much merit I'll get this time." When the bailiffs saw Qin Feng's eagerness to take credit and receive rewards, their expressions turned icy. Even if he wanted to receive rewards, it wouldn't be his turn. However, Wei Zhengsheng and Wei Changming's eyes flashed with a hint of smile. When they saw how anxious Qin Feng was, they were even more confident in the plan they had discussed last night. "Hee, young Master Qiao has made a great contribution this time. You must know that the Horseman Gang has committed all kinds of crimes and has been active in this West Town for 3 to 4 years. During this period, how many poor people have been killed and how many virgin girls have been harmed. Wei Jingxing's wild boasting completely confused Wang Long and the others. What medicine was this county magistrate selling in his gourd? Hua Xiaojun was already nervous. The closer Wei Zhengsheng acted to Qin Feng, the more worried she was. Even she could see that Wei Zhengsheng was hiding something. Oh, if that's the case, I'm going to have a meteoric rise this time? How does County Magistrate Wei want to reward me? Qin Feng cooperated with Wei Zhengsheng and yelled excitedly. Wei Jingxing's smile became even wider. Young Master Qiao, how about this? I have some business to attend to in the next few days, so why don't you be the county magistrate for a few days? If you perform well, I'll give you the position of constable. What do you think? After Wei Zhengsheng finished speaking, he looked nervously at Qin Feng. Wei Chongming's palms were covered in cold sweat. The fate of the father and son depended on Qin Feng's decision. Hua Xiaojun, Wang Long, and the others were so scared that they almost fell. County Magistrate Wei, young Master Wei, hurry and persuade the county magistrate. If that Xiao guy becomes the county magistrate, will our days be good? Wang Long and Li Hu couldn't take it anymore and immediately jumped out to dissuade him. Wei Zheng blew his beard and glared at them. Wei Chongming lifted his foot and kicked the two of them. You two dogs, when did you have the right to interrupt when my father is speaking? If you dare to speak out of turn, believe it or not, I'll drag you out and behead you. Wei Changming was suddenly enraged. He was someone who couldn't wait for Qin Feng to die. It had only been one night, but Wei Zhengsheng and Wei Changming seemed to have become completely different people. Their attitudes towards Qin Feng had changed by 180 degrees. Wang Long and Li Hu didn't care about the pain in their bodies. They were so scared that cold sweat broke out on their backs. Hua Xiaojun anxiously tugged at the corner of Qin Feng's clothes and looked at him nervously. Qiyang, Master Qiao, this lowly servant thinks that why you shouldn't be the county magistrate. Hua Xiaojun also didn't understand Wei Jingxing's intention, but she knew that this person definitely didn't have good intentions. Qin Feng had seen through this long ago, but he pretended to be stupid and said, You lowly servant, don't you want this young master to have a good life? It's rare that County Magistrate Wei thinks highly of me and even gave up the position of County Magistrate. How can I refuse? Qin Feng immediately agreed. He came to the Yamen to see the Holy Gate disciples. If he became the County Magistrate, the Holy Gate disciples would definitely look for him when they came to West Town. Good. I didn't choose the wrong person. County Magistrate Xiao, you have to manage West Town well these few days. Just don't cause any big trouble. Wei Jingxing's face was full of surprise. It was as if he was afraid that Qin Feng would suddenly change his mind, so he impatiently decided on this matter. Everyone was completely dumbfounded. Too many things had happened in these 10 minutes. The highest official position in West Town had actually changed hands. Wasn't this a little too childish? Wang Long, Li Hu, and the others couldn't accept this. They had all offended Qin Feng. Now that Qin Feng had become the county magistrate, wouldn't he play them to death? However, the matter had already been decided, so no one dared to say another word. Hua Xiaojun was so scared that she was trembling. Just now, Qin Feng had scolded her for the sake of acting, and she was so scared that she cried. After Wei Zhengshang finished giving his instructions, he hurriedly ran away. He said that he had more important matters to attend to out of town, but in reality, he was looking for a place to lie low. To prevent Qin Feng from becoming suspicious, Wei Changming stayed at the Yamen. Now that Qin Feng had become the highest official in West Town, he found it funny when he saw the group of bailiffs standing in a daze in the room. The two of you, go get 2 sets of clean clothes. Qin Feng ordered Wang Long and Li Hu. Qin Feng ordered Wang Long and Li Hu. He and Hua Xiaojun only had 1 set of clothes, so they needed a change of clothes. The two of them had come early in the morning with the intention of suppressing Qin Feng, but now they were being ordered around by Qin Feng's servant. They were so angry that their faces were livid. They stood there as if they hadn't heard anything. Qin Feng didn't care about their reactions. He looked at Wei Changming indifferently and said, Son, are these 2 dogs deaf? Why are we keeping 2 good-for-nothings for nothing? Drag them away and behead them. Qin Feng's words stunned everyone. Wei Changming suddenly snapped out his daze. He was so angry that his nose was crooked. Xiao, who the fuck are you calling son? Do you believe that I won't kill you right now? Wang Long, Li Hu, and the others had long been sullen. Seeing that young Master Wei had finally returned to normal, everyone immediately drew their sabers and surrounded Qin Feng. They looked like they were going to hack him to death at any moment. Hua Xiaojun was so frightened that she couldn't stop wiping her tears. She felt that she and young Master Qiao were really going to die today. Qin Feng sneered and said, "Oh, my son, are you going to rebel? I'm now the district magistrate, and you are the son of the district magistrate. Aren't you my son? You want to kill me? Then do it." Wang Long, Li Hu, and the others didn't know and were really about to swing their sabers. Wei Changming suddenly came to his senses. If Qin Feng was killed, his father would go on an expedition. His days as a young master would come to an end. Slap, slap, slap. A few slaps suddenly sounded. Wang Long and Li Hu's eyes widened as they looked at Wei Changming in disbelief. "Young Master Wei, why did you hit me?" Wei Changming vented all the anger in his stomach on the bailiffs and slapped them one by one. "You bunch of vile creatures, hurry up and put away your sabers. You want to attack the district magistrate? I think you're tired of living." Wei Changming was like a lunatic in everyone's eyes. One moment he wanted to kill Qin Feng, the next he didn't let them kill him. Wang Long, Li Hu, and the others were full of grievance. They were beaten up for no reason early in the morning. It was simply unreasonable. Hua Xiaojun was even more dumbfounded. She guessed that Wei Zhengsheng and his son didn't have good intentions, but she couldn't figure out what these two wanted. Qin Feng also couldn't figure it out, but he was too lazy to think about it. There were only a dozen or so bailiffs at the first level of true Qi left as a defense force. If they really provoked Qin Feng could kill them with a thought with his flying sword. Moreover, now that he was the district magistrate, Qin Feng could come into contact with people from the Holy Gate. This was the most important matter. Wang Long and Li Hu didn't dare to be arrogant anymore. They dejectedly ran down to prepare clothes for Qin Feng and Hua Xiaojun. The other bailiffs also hurriedly found an excuse to escape. They felt that Wei Changming had gone crazy. It was best to stay away from him at this time. What if he got infected? Qin Feng deliberately let Wei Changming stay and bullied him. He affectionately called him son. Wei Changming was so angry that his face turned black, but he didn't dare to explode. After a while, 2 sets of expensive silk embroidered clothes were delivered. Qin Feng didn't bother to look at Wei Changming and his people anymore. He angrily scolded them and chased them away. Only the 2 of them were left in the room. Hua Xiaojun was still standing in the same place and couldn't come back to her senses for a long time. "Xiaojun, try these clothes and see if they fit you. If they don't, I'll get them to make another set for you." Qin Feng had already thrown Wei Changming and his people to the back of his mind. Hua Xiaojun foolishly took the silk embroidered clothes and started to take off her clothes. When she stood naked in front of Qin Feng, she suddenly woke up. "Ah, young Master Qiao, let's leave quickly. The Wei father and son definitely don't have good intentions. Young Master, don't be blinded by the benefits in front of you." Chapter 1361. The 2 sets of clothes fit him perfectly. Qin Feng wore a long white robe, and his long hair flowed in the wind. Hua Xiaojun was mesmerized by his appearance. Hua Xiaojun, on the other hand, was wearing a red qi pao. It was a style that was specially worn by maidservants in ancient times. The sides of the skirt were slit to the side of her thighs, and one could vaguely see Xiaojun's slender and fair legs. The qi pao was a bright red, and it seemed to make her small face look even more charming. Before Hua Xiaojun met Qin Feng, she had never worn silk clothing. Now, she wore silk brocade clothes, rode a horse, and slept in a high-class place every day. It felt like a dream. She didn't dare to persuade Qin Feng to leave. Seeing that Qin Feng had decided to stay as the county magistrate, Hua Xiaojun was prepared to die by his side. Regardless of life or death, as long as young Master Qiao didn't abandon her, it was fine. "Young Master Qiao, breakfast is ready." The 2 had just changed when Wang Long knocked on the door and walked in. He carried all sorts of good wine and dishes. Qin Feng slapped him without saying anything and scolded. "You're still calling me young Master Qiao? I think you don't want your head anymore." Qin Feng had long disliked these bailiffs. These people wanted to kill him. So how could Qin Feng let them off so easily? Half of Wang Long's face immediately swelled up. He was so angry that he glared at Qin Feng, looking like he wanted to fight. Hua Xiaojun was so scared that she grabbed Qin Feng's clothes tightly. Tears welled up in her eyes again. Slap! At this time, Qin Feng slapped him again, and the other half of Wang Long's face swelled up as well. "You even dare to glare at the county magistrate? Do you think I won't get someone to gouge out your eyes?" Qin Feng never showed mercy to his enemies, and these two slaps completely woke Wang Long up. Now that County Magistrate Wei was nowhere to be found, the huge yamen was managed by Qin Feng, and even young Master Wei gave in to Qin Feng. How could a mere bailiff fight against Qin Feng? "Magistrate Qiao, please calm down. You just took office this low. This lowly one still hasn't gotten used to it." The anger on Wang Long's face suddenly disappeared, and he forced a smile to please Qin Feng. Qin Feng ignored him and had him put the breakfast on the table. Hua Xiaojun was stunned to the side. Did young Master Qiao really become the county magistrate? Wang Long immediately retreated after delivering the food. Now, Qin Feng was like a demon in his eyes. Qin Feng pulled Hua Xiaojun, who was in a daze, to sit in front of the table. She was so frightened that she suddenly woke up. "Ah, Qiao, young Master Qiao, please spare this lowly servant. This lowly servant can't sit." Hua Xiaojun was a bit depressed. She found that Feng liked to have her sit down when he ate, but how could she do that? In a great land, where a slave and her master ate at Feng. There, in a land there was how there Feng said, "Qin, Hua, and Hua, he, Qin, and Qin, Feng, and said, Hua, and said, Hua. Hua said, and Hua Qin, and Qin. Hua Xiaojun's heart was filled with warmth. She was so touched that she wanted to cry. Young Master Qiao was the best master she had ever seen. However, Hua Xiaojun's stubborn thoughts had been preserved for more than 10 years. How could they be changed so easily? She sat in Qin Feng's embrace and trembled. She couldn't even hold her chopsticks steadily, and she didn't eat a single bite. "Xiaojun, open your mouth." Qin Feng couldn't stand it anymore. He picked up a piece of beef and put it next to her mouth. Hua Xiaojun was so scared that she fidgeted. "Young Master Qiao, this can't be done. This slave can't eat." Qin Feng had long since discovered that Hua Xiaojun would never touch meat dishes when they ate. Moreover, she would only eat one bowl of rice each time. Even if she wasn't full, she wouldn't eat a second bowl. Qin Feng's expression became cold. He pretended to be angry and said, "Xiaojun, if you don't eat, then I can only force you to eat with my mouth." "Ah, that won't do. Young Master Qiao Wawa." Hua Xiaojun was anxious to death. She knew Qin Feng was good to her, but her mind was sealed. She always felt that this wasn't right. Under Qin Feng's insistence, Hua Xiaojun finally opened her small mouth and took a small bite of the beef. As she chewed slowly, her eyes sparkled like stars. She had forgotten how long it had been since she had eaten meat. It tasted much better than vegetables. As a hedonistic young master, he was disgusted by the taste of meat when he was outside. Since Hua Xiaojun liked to eat beef, he fed her mouthful by mouthful. Hua Xiaojun gradually relaxed a little. Tears streamed down her cheeks as she ate the food her master fed her. How she wished that this moment could be sealed forever. It was such a blissful moment. After the meal, there were still a lot of meat dishes left on the table. This was the best meal Hua Xiaojun had eaten in her entire life. She looked at the remaining half plate of beef and a large bowl of chicken soup with a hesitant expression. She looked at Qin Feng many times, but in the end, she didn't say anything. "What's wrong, Xiaojun?" Qin Feng could tell that she wanted to say something. Hua Xiaojun had already gotten up from Qin Feng's embrace. She stood to the side and said carefully, "See, young Master Qiao, can this lowly servant take these leftovers?" Qin Feng stilled. "You're not full yet? Then continue eating. What are you afraid of?" Hua Xiaojun immediately waved her hands. Her mouth was full from Qin Feng's feeding, and this was the fullest she had ever eaten. This lowly servant wants to take it back for Grandma to eat. Grandma has lived her entire life, but I hasn't eaten meat before. Qin Feng stilled again and was moved by Hua Xiaojin's filial piety. He walked up and rubbed her head. There's no need to take the leftovers. I'll have someone make another portion. Once it's done, we'll go to Hua family village. After eating and drinking their fill, Qin Feng carried Hua Xiaojin and rode Fire Dragon Horse to Hua family village. A group of bailiffs followed and protected him. When they arrived at Hua family village, it was already noon. Many villagers had just finished their farm work and were carrying hoes home to cook. Is that young Master Qiao and Xiaojin? That brat is still alive? Why didn't the people from the Yamen kill him? Hurry and look. The one with the surname Qiao and Xiaojin have changed into a new set of clothes, and there are many people riding horses behind them. What's going on? Very quickly, someone noticed Qin Feng and the others. The procession of horses was too spectacular, and it was impossible to keep a low profile. In less than a minute, almost half of the villagers surrounded the village entrance. Everyone discussed and didn't understand what was going on. Xiaojin, young Master Qiao, are you really back? An old granny suddenly ran out of the crowd and excitedly rushed over with the help of a walking stick. Hua Xiaojin had already jumped off her horse and rushed over to hug Wang Xiumei. The two women started to cry and felt as if they were reunited between life and death. Xiaojin, why are you back? The people from the Yamen didn't bully you? After crying for a while, Wang Xiumei calmed down and had a confused expression. Hua Xiaojin helped her granny wipe away her tears. A joyful smile suddenly blossomed on her face as she said, Granny, young Master Qiao is so amazing. He's already the county magistrate. He was afraid that Granny would be worried, so he brought me back to tell you. When Hua Xiaojin's words fell into the crowd's ears, the Hua family village instantly exploded. Holy shit, that girl Hua Xiaojin is crazy. She's actually talking nonsense. They even dared to impersonate the identity of the county magistrate. How did these two survive until now? The one with the surname Qiao, you actually dared to escape from the Yamen and escape back to the Hua family village. If you have the guts, don't run. I'll call people to arrest you right now. Zhou Dafei suddenly jumped out of the crowd. Since last night, he had been waiting for Zhang Zhen to help him take credit at the Yamen. In the end, there was no news at all. Instead, Qin Feng and Hua Xiaojin came. Hua Xiaojin was already dissatisfied with Zhou Dafei. When she saw that he was disrespectful to young Master Qiao, she said with a huff, Zhou Dafei, don't frame young Master Qiao. He didn't escape from prison. He's now the county magistrate of the West Town Yamen. The crowd exclaimed incessantly. The West Town magistrate was the highest-ranking official in this area. They had to kowtow when they saw the magistrate, but no one believed Hua Xiaojin's words. The reason why they were surprised was because they never imagined that Hua Xiaojin would dare to lie so boldly. I think you're crazy, woman. That brat can be the county magistrate? Then Lao Zi is the magistrate. Zhou Dafei smiled coldly. He didn't put Hua Xiaojin and Qin Feng in his eyes at all. Now that he had curried favor with Zhang Zhen, he believed that in a few days, the Yamen would call him to receive his reward. Perhaps he could even get a position as a bailiff. If that happened, the entire Hua family village would be proud of him. At that time, he would forcefully take Hua Xiaojin and beat Qin Feng. Would this brat still be arrogant then? I think you're the crazy one. You dared to pretend to be the magistrate. Hua Xiaojin pouted and glared at Zhou Dafei. Zhou Dafei suddenly froze. He suddenly didn't recognize Hua Xiaojin anymore. This woman used to be extremely weak. If he hit or scolded her, she wouldn't resist at all. But now, she dared to talk back to him? Zhou Dafei was so angry that his eyes turned blood red. Hua Xiaojin, you dare to yell at Laozi? Isn't it just being that Xiao's servant? Look at how capable you are. That brat pretended to be the county magistrate and is about to be beheaded. When he dies, I want to see who will help you. Zhou Dafei cursed angrily. Hua Xiaojin couldn't bear to hear others talk about Qin Feng being beheaded. She was so anxious that she was about to cry. Zhou Dafei, I don't even want to pay attention to an ant like you. Yet you're throwing yourself at me. Don't tell me you have masochism? Qin Feng saw that Hua Xiaojun was anxious and stepped in front of her and Wang Xiumei. Zhou Dafei was more or less afraid of Qin Feng's skills. He was so scared that he took 2 steps back. However, he was confident in his heart. Now that he had curried favor with Constable Zhang Zhan of the Yamen, how could he be afraid of Qin Feng? Continue to be arrogant. I'll go to the Yamen right now to find Lord Zhang Zhan. When he brings people to capture you, let's see if you can still be so arrogant. Zhou Dafei had a card up his sleeve. After he finished speaking, he looked as if he was about to go down the mountain to the Yamen. The villagers all had playful smiles on their faces. They looked at Qin Feng with schadenfreude. They felt that this person didn't have long to live. Chapter 1362. Zhou Dafei suddenly froze. He was preoccupied with bickering with Hua Xiaojun and Qin Feng, and didn't pay attention to the group of people behind Qin Feng. After Qin Feng's reminder, everyone looked over, and their eyes and jaws dropped to the ground. Those people are really from the Yamen. Yeah, aren't they bailiffs from the Yamen? They're all wearing bailiff's armor. Holy shit. The sun rose from the west. Could that Xiao guy really have become the county magistrate? The Hua village people were dumbfounded. Young Master Qiao wasn't killed by the Yamen, and he even became the county magistrate. The world was coming to an end. Wang Long, Li Hu, and the others stood behind Qin Feng and were being pointed at by a group of poor people. They were so angry that they were about to explode. However, they still didn't understand the situation. Did County Magistrate Wei really give the position of County Magistrate to that Xiao guy? Was there something wrong with his brain? Do you really think I'll believe you just because you spent money to find a few people to act with you? Just as everyone was panicking, Zhou Dafei suddenly laughed loudly. He knew that Qin Feng was quite rich, and it wasn't hard at all to find a group of poor people to act. No matter what, Zhou Dafei didn't believe that Qin Feng became the county magistrate even if he was beaten to death. That was the highest official in West Town. Unless County Magistrate Wei was stupid, the position would have been passed on to young Master Wei. Why would it fall on Qin Feng? With Zhou Dafei's reminder, the Hua village people suddenly came to their senses. They only needed to think a bit to understand that this was definitely the Qiao guy acting. This Qiao guy is simply too daring. Not only did he pretend to be the county magistrate, he even hired people to pretend to be bailiffs. Even if he had 9 heads, it wouldn't be enough to behead him. The bailiffs of the West Town Yamen came yesterday, and none of these people are the bailiffs from yesterday. They're clearly fake. Hua Xiaojun, you bitch, look at what you've done. You'll only be happy if you kill everyone in Hua village. The crowd was in an uproar again, and some women started to curse at Hua Xiaojun. Now, that Qin Feng had pretended to be the county magistrate, if this got to the Yamen, the entire Hua village would be in trouble. Little Zhen, how could you do such a thing? You'll really lose your head for this. Even Wang Xiumei was anxious. However, she only scolded Hua Xiaojun and immediately pushed her away. Hurry up and let young Master Qiao take you away. Leave distant Ice City. The further you run, the better. Hua Xiaojun felt depressed. Suddenly, she could somewhat understand young Master Qiao's feelings. Qin Feng was a little annoyed by the noise. He yelled at Wang Long, who was still in a daze. Are you stupid? Why aren't you arresting that unruly commoner for me? He insists that I'm a fake district magistrate. Give him 50 strokes of the cane first. Under Qin Feng's command, Wang Long and Li Hu immediately rushed toward Zhou Dafei. They didn't want to pay attention to Qin Feng, but after being abused this morning, they didn't dare to disobey. Both of them were experts at the first stage of true qi. They grabbed Zhou Dafei like a little chick and brought him in front of Qin Feng. The villagers were stupefied. Was this guy, surnamed Qiao, addicted to pretending to be the district magistrate? County Magistrate Qiao, can we execute it now? Wang Long asked respectfully. Beat him. Just as Qin Feng finished speaking, 2 more bailiffs rushed up and pressed Zhou Dafei to the ground. Wang Long directly pulled down his pants. The village woman was so embarrassed that she immediately turned her head, but there were also some people who peeked out of curiosity. Wang Long and Li Hu already made their moves. Their strength was so strong that Zhou Dafei felt his buttocks blossom with one strike of the cane. Io, fuck your grandpa. You guys really dare to hit me? Do you really think you're bailiffs? Hurry up and help me up. I'm going to the Yamen to sue you. Zhou Dafei still didn't understand the situation. He angrily cursed Wang Long and Li, who already had a belly full of anger. Their blows became even heavier. You idiot. I'm not a bailiff. You're a bailiff. You unruly commoner. I'll break your dog legs. Zhou Dafei still wanted to threaten them, but after 3 strikes of a cane, he was already in so much pain that he couldn't speak. Wang Long and Li, who didn't care about this person's life or death, they each hit him with vigor. The villagers cried out when they saw this. Zhou Hai angrily rushed out, pointed at Qin Feng's nose, and cursed. Qin Feng called out a few bailiffs, and Zhou Hai was also given 50 strokes of the cane. It was noon, and everyone wasn't afraid of the hot sun. They didn't even eat and surrounded the village entrance to watch Zhou Dafei and his son get beaten. The villagers were extremely depressed. They still didn't believe that Qin Feng was the county magistrate. Seeing this brat put on a show, they thought he was really crazy. Qin Feng didn't care about their thoughts. He was already comforting Wang Xiaomei with Hua Xiaozhen. Hua Xiaozhen stood close to Qin Feng with her back to Zhou Dafei and Li Hu. She didn't dare to look around. She was deeply afraid that her eyes would be polluted and she wouldn't be able to serve young Master Qiao. The 50 strokes of the cane ended quickly. Actually, by the time it reached the 10th stroke, Zhou Hai and his son had already fainted. However, Wang Long and the others wouldn't stop. They wanted to vent all the anger in their hearts today. County Magistrate Qiao, those 2 guys are unconscious. Should we behead them on the spot? Wang Long had already arrived at Qin Feng's side. His expression was serious, and he didn't look like he was joking at all. The villagers trembled in fear. They thought to themselves that this Qiao guy was going crazy from acting. He wouldn't actually kill the Zhou father and son in front of everyone, right? Qin Feng had long disliked Zhou Hai and his son, but he wouldn't go so far as to kill them. In the end, these 2 were just poor people at the bottom of the social ladder. They just developed a personality that went with the wind. Moreover, Wang Xiaomei had long since expressed her vow to stay in Hua Village. If Qin Feng really killed the Zhou father and son, how could Wang Xiaomei stay in Hua Village in the future? Don't worry about those 2. Bring the things they brought back into the house. Qin Feng waved his hand, and Wang Long and the others immediately got to work. On the horses they rode, there were 2 large sacks. This time, they carried more than a dozen sacks, which made the villagers confused. Xiaozhen, what is this? Wang Xiaomei asked when she saw those people carrying sacks and walking toward her house. Hua Xiaozhen's face lit up with a blissful smile. She sneaked a glance at Qin Feng and then said to Wang Xiaomei, Grandma, those sacks are all beef, lamb, horse, chicken, duck, fish, and some silk clothes, cloth shoes, cotton padded jackets, bedding, and some loose silver. Hua Xiaozhen felt that she couldn't finish talking. Those things were all brought by Qin Feng. At the time, Hua Xiaozhen jumped in fright. The villagers cried out in alarm, and Wang Xiaomei sat on the ground in fright. These dozen or so sacks were actually filled with expensive goods. Where did Xiaozhen and young Master Qiao get them? Could young Master Qiao really have become the county magistrate? The villagers couldn't stay calm either. For the first time, they started to suspect that the Qiao guy didn't really become the county magistrate. County Magistrate Qiao, the things have been put away. These wicked people dared to question your identity. Should we arrest them and bring them back to the Yamen? Wang Long ran over, tired and sweating. The villagers couldn't hold it in anymore. A bold youth stood out and said, You guys say you're from the Yamen? Do you have any proof? Wang Long wanted to slap that idiot to death, but seeing that Qin Feng didn't say anything, he didn't dare to act blindly without thinking. Open your dog eyes and take a good look. This is the Yamen's token. We're all constables of the West Town Yamen. This is the newly appointed County Magistrate Qiao. Why aren't you kneeling when you see County Magistrate Qiao? Wang Long took out an identity token from his waist, and the crowd immediately cried out in alarm. Wasn't this the token that represented the identity of a constable? It's really the Yamen's constables. How is this possible? Someone came to his senses with a start and looked at Qin Feng in disbelief. He felt like he was dreaming. This brat had just offended a group of bailiffs yesterday afternoon and was taken back to the West Town Yamen. Today, he had returned triumphantly as the county magistrate. This was simply too legendary. This lowly one pays his respects to the county magistrate. I hope the county magistrate won't blame us. A few villagers had already knelt on the ground and kowtowed to Qin Feng. The others came to their senses one after another and knelt down. They were so scared that their bodies trembled. Wang Xiumei was also scared silly. She prepared to kneel, but Qin Feng supported her. At the same time, he pulled Hua Xiaozhen back. Otherwise, this woman would also kneel. There were several dozen Hua family villagers in front of him, and they all knelt in a row. It was a spectacular scene. Young Master Qiao. Hua Xiaozhen trembled in fear at this scene. Before she finished speaking, Qin Feng understood what she meant. He said to the villagers, "Everyone, get up. I'm not here to suppress you. I just came back to see Third Grandma Wang. Now that I'm the county magistrate of West Town, I'll expand the development of Hua Family Village in the future. You can all live here in peace." Qin Feng didn't have any enmity with these villagers, so he didn't make things difficult for them. When everyone heard these words, they all let out long sighs of relief. However, they still didn't get up. The idea of being a lowly commoner that had been instilled in them for decades was deeply ingrained. After knowing that Qin Feng was really the newly appointed county magistrate, they didn't dare to slight him in the slightest. Qin Feng couldn't persuade these people, so he simply pulled Hua Xiaozhen and Wang Xiumei into the house. After seeing Qin Feng leave, the villagers dared to get up. They hurriedly ran home to hide. Wang Long and the other bailiffs stood guard at the village entrance. They couldn't complain, even though they were standing under the scorching sun. Wang Xiumei was still in a daze. She couldn't understand how young Master Qiao had suddenly become the county magistrate. Young Master Qiao. No, County Magistrate Qiao, this old servant greets you. Wang Xiumei was a bit afraid of Qin Feng. She entered the house and wanted to kneel again. Qin Feng felt helpless. He supported her and said, "Third Grandma Wang, don't be so polite with me. Xiao Zhan is my servant, so we're considered family." Wang Xiumei suddenly burst into tears. She knew that her granddaughter had found a good master. Being able to give Xiao Zhan to Qin Feng meant that Wang Xiumei's last worry was completely gone. Qin Feng had dinner at home. Wang Xiumei and Hua Xiaozhen still refused to sit down. However, they were more talkative and wore sweet smiles on their faces. Qin Feng had been in the divine Great Land for a week, and this meal made him feel like he was at home. He missed the women in Hero City even more now. Qin Feng had been in the divine Great Land for a week. Chapter 1363. The next morning, Qin Feng left Hua Village with Hua Xiaozhen and the bailiffs. The people of Hua Village escorted them from 1,000 miles away. They were certain that young Master Qiao was the new district magistrate, but they still found it hard to believe. The group of people rushed back to the Yamen. As soon as they returned, they saw Wei Changming rushing over anxiously. "County Magistrate Qiao, you're finally back. An important person has come to the Yamen. You should go and receive him." Although Wei Changming had swallowed his anger in front of Qin Feng, this was the first time he had addressed Qin Feng respectfully. Qin Feng immediately knew that trouble was coming. Until now, he still didn't understand why the Wei father and son gave the position of district magistrate to him. Qin Feng guessed that their intentions were clear, but he didn't care too much. Hua Xiaozhen, on the other hand, became nervous. She grabbed Qin Feng's clothes tightly and looked at him worriedly. Qin Feng patted Hua Xiaozhen's arm to comfort her and asked Wei Changming, "What important person has come?" Even Wang Long and the others were confused. Wei Changming said anxiously, "The disciples of distant Eye City's 3 sacred gates are here. County Magistrate Xiao, don't ask so much and follow me in." Qin Feng's eyes brightened. He came to the Yamen to wait for the sacred gate disciples. He didn't expect them to come so soon. Hua Xiaozhen and the bailiff's expressions changed drastically when they heard the 2 words sacred gate. They looked very fearful. In this divine land, The people of the Sacred Gate were the people of the Sacred Gate, especially the sect leaders of the Sacred Gate. They were existences that stood above tens of thousands of people. Even the city lords of the 8 major cities were their subordinates. As for this West Town's district magistrate, he didn't even deserve to carry the shoes of the Sacred Gate disciples. Oh no, young Master Chiao, I know why they made you the district magistrate. Let's go, or else you'll be in big trouble. Hua Xiaozhen suddenly woke up and pulled Qin Feng to escape. Qin Feng asked, "Why did they make me the district magistrate?" Hua Xiaozhen was still a little fearful of Wei Changming, Wang Long, and the others. She suppressed her voice and said, "Now that the distant Ice City and Meteor City are at war, the moment the Holy Gate sends out disciples, they will have to mobilize the bailiffs and officials of the various regions in the city to go to the battlefield. That way Zhengsheng is definitely unwilling to go, so he threw this difficult task to young Master Chiao." Hua Xiaozhen wasn't an idiot. She thought of such a faraway matter, and Qin Feng suddenly realized something. However, he wasn't too worried. Although the true qi in his body had yet to recover with the flying sword in his hand, even if he couldn't defeat the Holy Gate's disciples, escaping with Hua Xiaozhen wouldn't be a problem. At this moment, Wei Changming was as anxious as an ant on a hot pan. He was subservient to Qin Feng just for this moment. If he messed things up today, he would definitely kill Qin Feng with his own hands. "What are you mumbling about, you lowly servant? There's no place for you to speak here." "Shut up." Wei Changming suddenly flared up. He guessed that Hua Xiaozhen was trying to persuade Qin Feng to leave. Hua Xiaozhen was so frightened that she immediately shut her mouth. She lowered her head and shivered. Qin Feng walked in front of Wei Changming with large strides, raised his hand, and slapped him twice. "You unfilial son, how dare you behave atrociously toward your father's servant? See if father won't slap your mouth until it's rotten." The 2 dull sounds had already faded away, but Hua Xiaozhen, Wang Long, and the others were still in a daze. Wei Changming covered his red and swollen face and stared at Qin Feng in disbelief. No one had ever dared to slap him in his entire life. "You with the surname Chiao, you even dare to hit me? Who do you think you are? Do you believe that I can immediately remove you from your position as the county magistrate with just a word from me?" Wei Changming was truly enraged, and he started scolding Qin Feng. When Hua Xiaozhen saw that her master was standing up for her, she was extremely grateful and worried for Qin Feng at the same time. Wang Long, Li Hu, and the others had long found Qin Feng an eyesore. They immediately pulled out half of their cold sabers and surrounded him. As long as Wei Changming gave the order, they would definitely slice this bastard Qin Feng into 2. Faced with such a situation, Qin Feng smiled faintly and said, "You're so capable? Then remove me from my position as the county magistrate. I don't want to do it anymore." Qin Feng already knew what the Wei father and son were thinking, so he wasn't afraid of Wei Changming's threat. However, Wang Long didn't know. He yelled at Qin Feng, "Stinking brat, if you want to remove me, then remove me. Who do you think you are? Young Master Wei, this guy is too arrogant. Quickly remove him from his position as the county magistrate, and I will immediately remove him." Wang Long and Li Hu glared at Qin Feng. They were about to attack, but they were stunned by Wei Changming's 2 slaps. Young Master Wei, the 2 of them were so angry that they almost killed Wei Changming with their sabers. Wei Changming hadn't finished his official business yet, so he had to let Qin Feng have his way. However, he wasn't afraid of Wang Long and Li Hu. Seeing that they were still unconvinced, he slapped them again. "You still dare to glare at me? Have you grown wings? Do you believe that I won't remove you 2 from your positions as constables?" The 2 of them instantly cowered. If they lost their positions as constables, they could only be reduced to bandits. Hua Xiaozhen was confused by the sudden change in the situation. Wei Changming suppressed the anger in his heart. After slapping the 2 of them, he squeezed a smile on his face and moved closer to Qin Feng. "Hee, Magistrate Xiao, I taught those 2 disobedient bastards a lesson. Magistrate Xiao, don't bother with them anymore. It's not good for your noble status. There are esteemed guests waiting for Magistrate Xiao in the main hall. Hurry up and follow me." When Wei Changming got to business, Qin Feng couldn't be bothered to look at him anymore. He pulled Hua Xiaojin into the yamen. After passing through the courtyard, they arrived at the main hall. There were already people sitting on both sides, and they were all warriors dressed in long robes. He, seniors from a holy gate. Magistrate Xiao went out to deal with some matters. He is back now. Sorry for the long wait. Wei Changming didn't dare to slight these holy gate's disciples. He had heard that these people were true experts. They could take a person's life with a flick of their fingers. If they angered them, they wouldn't even know how they died. Hua Xiaojin had never seen a true holy gate's disciple before. The moment she entered the room, her legs trembled. Wang Long, Li Hu, and the other bailiffs didn't even dare to enter the door. They stood in 2 rows at the entrance like 2 stone pillars. Only Qin Feng's expression didn't change. It was as if he didn't see the 2 rows of Holy Gate's disciples. He actually pulled Hua Xiaojin and swaggered to the stone chair at the highest position. Cold sweat appeared on Wei Changming's forehead. He thought that this Qiao guy was an idiot. It was one thing to act cool in front of him, but he still acted so recklessly in front of the Holy Gate seniors. As expected, the expressions of the men and women in the 2 rows below the stage sank. A youth wearing a white robe with a red sun pattern on his chest stood up. "You are the West Town Yamen's magistrate? How awe-inspiring. How dare you put on airs in front of our Holy Gate? Are you tired of living?" The moment this person finished speaking, his body suddenly emitted surging true energy. There was a sudden gust of wind in the great hall, pressuring Wei Changming and the bailiffs at the entrance so much that they couldn't breathe. Hua Xiaojin was so scared that she was about to cry. She secretly grabbed the corner of Qin Feng's clothes. Wei Changming was also so scared that his face turned pale. He quickly stood up and said something good. "Senior, please don't be angry. Xiao, Magistrate Xiao, just came back and doesn't know the identity of all the seniors." Then Magistrate Xiao quickly apologized to everyone. Wei Changming kept giving Qin Feng meaningful looks, but Qin Feng acted as if he couldn't see it. His gaze swept across the 2 rows of people below, and his pupils suddenly constricted. Spirit Beast Sex Ling Yun was actually sitting among them. Not long ago, Qin Feng broke through the formation to enter the Despair Gate, but he was almost killed by Ling Yun in the formation. He swore that the next time he saw this woman, he would make her regret it. He didn't expect to meet her so soon. However, Qin Feng quickly calmed down. Right now, he couldn't circulate true energy. If he wanted to kill this woman, he could only use star technology. However, Ling Yun was a stage 4 true Qi expert, so killing her wouldn't be easy. If he didn't kill this woman and expose his identity, he would be in big trouble. Stinking brat. Are you stupid? Quickly kowtow and admit your mistake. Seeing that Qin Feng didn't respond for a long time, the white-robed man roared again. Wei Changming was angry and afraid. He didn't dare to stand up and say anything else. After Qin Feng came back to his senses, his gaze fell on the Holy Gate disciple. He quickly recognized this person's identity. It turned out that he was a disciple of the Red Sun sect. Not long ago, Qin Feng fought with the Despair Gate on the ocean of Hero City. The Red Sun sect's elder Sun Hung died under his blade. This man in front of him was in his early 30s, and he was only at stage 4 true Qi. How dare he be so arrogant with Qin Feng? The atmosphere instantly froze. Wei Changming and Hua Xiaojin were anxious to death. The Red Sun sect's disciple, Sun Dao, had run out of patience. Suddenly, he swung his sword and stabbed towards Gao Tang. "Stinking brat, I think you're courting death," Hua Xiaojin cried out in fright. Wei Changming fell to the ground. In everyone's eyes, Qin Feng would die without a doubt under seeking Dao's sword. As such, the plan that Wei Changming and his father had painstakingly laid out would be destroyed. "Wait, I have a spirit weapon on me." Seeing that the sword was about to pierce his throat, Qin Feng spoke unhurriedly. Sun Dao's expression changed drastically. He hurriedly withdrew his sword. He almost killed Qin Feng. "You have a spirit weapon? Do you know what a spirit weapon is?" Sun Dao said with a cold expression. Even the other Holy Gate's disciples who were sitting below were excited. They stood up and looked at Qin Feng. Wei Changming and the bailiffs didn't know what Qin Feng was planning. Although they hadn't seen a spirit weapon before, they knew it was an extremely rare treasure in the divine continent. The Holy Gate disciples fought for it. How could this Qiao guy have such a thing? Wei Changming was about to die from anger. This guy even dared to lie to a Holy Gate senior? At this time, a sword hum sounded in the air. As if he was performing a magic trick, a pink long sword appeared in Qin Feng's hand. The moon's sorrow seemed to flow with a majestic aura. It was the condensation of the moon god's power. Once this sword appeared, the hall became silent. It was as if time had stopped. Chapter 1364. Swoosh. Several gusts of wind blew past, and the Holy Gate's disciples who were originally standing below the stage all stood on the stage. Wei Changming and the rest didn't even have time to react, as they were shocked by the strength of the Holy Gate's disciples. However, the Sacred Gate disciples were shocked by Moonmorn in Qin Feng's hand. It's really a rare pink equipment and a spiritual sword. Our White Warehouse sect happens to be a sword sect. This spiritual sword is mine. A man in his early 40s reached out to grab the spiritual sword in Qin Feng's hand. He was Xialong, a disciple of White Warehouse sect. However, before he could grab the spiritual sword, Sun Dao stopped him with a palm. Xialong, what do you mean by this? I found this spiritual sword first. Sun Dao's face was cold. This was a rare pink equipment. How could he give it to others? The two were quarreling fiercely when Ling Yun also reached out. Qin Feng dodged to the side. Ling Yun's expression changed drastically. She actually snatched nothing? You're a warrior? How could you dodge me? Ling Yun glared at Qin Feng with a cold face. The situation was suddenly about to fight. Hua Xiaojin was so scared that she didn't know what to do. Sun Dao and Xialong saw that the Spirit Beast sect people also had their eyes on the spiritual sword. The two immediately stopped and blocked Ling Yun from both sides. What are you doing? Ling Yun glared at the two angrily. Xialong said, Junior Sister Yun this spiritual sword is mine. I advise you not to have any ideas about it. Sun Dao immediately rebuked Xialong. Do you have any shame? That spirit sword is clearly mine. The two went from fighting to bickering, but Ling Yun couldn't snatch it openly anymore. Among the three, Xialong was the strongest. He had stepped into the 5th stage of true qi. Ling Yun, and Sun Dao were both at the 4th stage of true qi. The three of them each brought 3 disciples, but they were all at the 2nd or 3rd stage of true qi. Seeing that the 3 forces were about to fight, Hua Xiaojin and the others were anxious. Qin Feng, on the other hand, wanted to laugh. He deliberately took out Moonmorn to incite the disciples of the 3 sects to fight. The 3 quarreled for a long time, but there was no result. According to the strength of the scene, Xialong could kill the people from the other 2 sects and snatch the spiritual sword. But if he did that, it would definitely cause a war between the 2 sects, and that would not be worth it. White Song faction, Red Sun faction, you'd better back off. I'm here on behalf of the Spirit Beast sect. If there's any discord, the Spirit Beast sect won't spare your sects. Ling Yun had lost her patience. In front of a rare, pink spiritual sword, she directly brought out her backer. Sun Dao and Xialong's expressions turned cold, but they didn't retort for a while. There were 3 sacred sects in Distant Eye City, which are the White Song sect, the Red Sun sect, and the Spirit Beast sect. However, the Spirit Beast sect was the strongest. Even if the White Song sect and the Red Sun sect joined forces, they might not be a match for the Spirit Beast sect. There's no need for the 3 of you to quarrel. I'll keep this spiritual sword for myself for now. After this expedition to the battlefield, I'll give this sword to whoever kills the most enemies. Qin Feng suddenly opened his mouth. Ling Yun, and the other 2 looked at him. They almost forgot that this spiritual sword actually belonged to Qin Feng. Seeing Qin Feng casually take out a pink spiritual sword, Sun Dao's attitude toward him changed a little. He said in a calm tone, County Magistrate Xiao, do you have any other spiritual weapons? Where did you get that spiritual sword? Sun Dao's question also hit the bottom of Ling Yun and Xialong's hearts. As sacred sex disciples, it was rare for them to see a blue-grade spiritual weapon. Most of them used white or orange-grade spiritual weapons. However, Qin Feng, a mere county magistrate, actually got his hands on a rare pink-grade spiritual weapon. It was simply unimaginable. I have a few spiritual weapons with me. These spiritual weapons are of similar quality. They're all antiques that I've collected from all over the years when I was the county magistrate. Later on, I found out that some of these antiques are spiritual weapons, so I've been keeping them. Qin Feng casually made up an excuse, but Ling Yun'er and the other two were dumbfounded. Qin Feng said he had a lot of spiritual weapons with similar quality. Didn't that mean that he had a lot of rare pink-grade spiritual weapons? Ling Yun'er and the other two's eyes lit up. They couldn't wait to kidnap Qin Feng on the spot and force him to hand over all his spiritual weapons. However, the three of them didn't make a move in the end. They were apprehensive of Qin Feng's power. Good, very good. County Magistrate Xiao, I like your character very much. Can you be friends? Sun Dao, who was arrogant and despotic just a moment ago, and even wanted Qin Feng to kneel and beg for mercy, now looked like he was trying to curry favor with Qin Feng. As soon as he finished speaking, Xiaolong came up to Qin Feng and cupped his fist. County Magistrate Xiao, I'm Xiaolong, a disciple of White Barn Sect. If County Magistrate Xiao wants to join the Holy Gate, I can bring you back to White Barn Sect. Both of them started to curry favor with Qin Feng. Their target was the rare pink-grade spiritual weapon. Ling Yun'er clenched her teeth in anger. She stood up and said, County Magistrate Xiao, White Barn Sect and Red Sun Sect are nothing. The stability and prosperity of Distant Ice City depends on our Spirit Beast Sect. If County Magistrate Xiao is willing to give me all his spiritual weapons, I'll report this to the elders when I return to the sect. By then, it won't be difficult for County Magistrate Xiao to be promoted to a prefecture governor or even a city governor. The three of them threw out generous bait, and Hua Xiaojun was dizzy. Wei Changming's eyes almost popped out his head. He started to regret the plan he had arranged with his father. As for Wang Long, Li Hu, and the others who were standing outside the door, they were completely speechless. They thought the Xiao guy was too lucky. Why did he have people fawn over him wherever he went? Hee. All three of you are experts from the Holy Gate. This is putting me in a difficult position. I believe that no matter which party I give the spiritual weapons to, the other two parties will bear a grudge against me. If that's the case, I'll keep the spiritual weapons for now and look at them in the future. What Qin Feng said was the truth. Ling Yun'er and the others couldn't refute him. The three of them looked at each other coldly, but they didn't force Qin Feng to take out his spiritual weapons. After all, no one was willing to give in. Even if Qin Feng took out his rare pink-grade spiritual weapons, they would still have to fight it out. County Magistrate Xiao will do as you say. The three of them finally retreated and sat in their seats absent-mindedly. They were thinking of ways to take away Qin Feng's spiritual weapons. Qin Feng sat in the hall, while Hua Xiaojun carefully fanned him from behind. Wei Changming was still in a daze. He thought Xiao was going to be tortured to death by the seniors from the Holy Gate. In the end, he became the treasure that the Holy Gate fought over. Unfilial son, what are you waiting for? Hurry up and pour some tea for the guests. Qin Feng rolled his eyes at Wei Changming, and Wei Changming instantly snapped out of his daze. He was so angry that his face turned ashen. All his life, he was used to serving others. When had he ever served others like a servant? However, Wei Changming didn't dare to disobey these experts from the Holy Gate. At that time, Qin Feng didn't even need to make a move. These people would kill him with a single slap. The situation was stabilized by Qin Feng. Wei Changming was busy pouring tea for everyone, but Qin Feng treated him like air. He said to the people from the Holy Gate, "My friends, everyone came from afar. I believe it's for the war, right?" Logically speaking, a county magistrate status was nothing in front of a Holy Gate disciple. The county magistrate spoke with great caution, and the Holy Gate disciples were cold and indifferent to him. But now that they knew Qin Feng had many rare pink-grade spiritual weapons, Ling Yun'er and the others fought to speak to Qin Feng first. They wanted to get closer to him. County Magistrate Xiao, we are indeed here for the war. Sun Dao interrupted, and his face was flushed with excitement. Xiaolong added, now that the war between distant Ice City and Meteor City is at hand, the Holy Gate sent us here to mobilize the government forces. If there are no mistakes, we will set off in 3 days. Ling Yin added, actually, the war between the two cities depends on the strength of the Holy Gate. Our distant Ice City is led by the Spirit Beast sect, and the Red Sun sect and the White Song sect are supporting. Meteor City is led by Ji Chun, and the Moonfall Spring sect and the Cloud Volcano sect are supporting. Based on the strength of the sects, they are evenly matched. This will be a tough battle. Ling Yin belittled the White Song sect and the Red Sun sect in front of everyone. Sun Dao and Xiaolong were infuriated, but they didn't retort because what Ling Yin said was the truth. Qin Feng had heard of all these sects, and he had even killed their disciples. Now, he felt somewhat fortunate that he had used the 100 transformation mask to change his appearance when he entered the extinction sect. Otherwise, if he were to bump into Ling Yin, with his current appearance, there would definitely be a fierce battle. After the three of them explained the situation, Qin Feng understood a lot about the war between the two cities. Meteor City and Distant Eye City were separated by a mountain. The size, power, and development of the two cities were about the same. Therefore, the Saint Gates of both cities were eyeing each other's cities. If they could merge the two cities, their power would be more than doubled. Qin Feng didn't have a good impression of the extinction sects. Not long ago, he had tortured all of them in the outside world. Now that the two cities were at war, Qin Feng suddenly had an idea. He could let them fight to the death, and then he could reap the benefits. All right, I will issue an announcement later to gather the young adults of West Town and the 3 villages to wait for the war. At this point, Qin Feng sent Wang Long and Li Hu away to deal with the business. Ling Yin, and the others were arranged to rest in their rooms. Wei Changming was still in a daze. When he saw that Qin Feng seemed to have connections with the Holy Gate, he was extremely jealous. He even thought that if his father hadn't left, maybe he and his father could have taken this opportunity to become the Holy Gate's disciples. Qin Feng stayed in his room for the whole afternoon. Although he used the 100 transformation mask to change his appearance to Xiao Feng, some of his habitual actions were not easy to change. Now that his strength had not recovered, it was better to keep a low profile and be cautious. However, when he just finished dinner, Ling Yin came looking for him. County Magistrate Xiao, are you free tonight? I want to invite you to my room for a chat. Ling Yin had changed out of the training clothes she wore in the afternoon. She was wearing a tight Cheongsam skirt that perfectly outlined her curvaceous figure. She seemed to have some light makeup on her face, and her beauty was outstanding. Chapter 1365. Qin Feng wasn't afraid of this woman. Back then, he was in a hurry to enter the Despair sect, so he neglected to guard against her. Now that Qin Feng was constantly on guard, Ling Yin was nothing to him. Yo, beautiful Yin, you look so beautiful tonight. Qin Feng looked like a pig as he stared fixedly at Ling Yin's breasts. A cold light flashed in Ling Yin's eyes, but she smiled and said, Magistrate Xiao, you're making fun of me. Why don't we go to my room and have a drink with Magistrate Xiao? Hua Xiaojin was unhappy that young Master Xiao was charmed by that vixen. She secretly tugged on Qin Feng's arm and looked at him with a wronged expression. Qin Feng glared at Hua Xiaojin and said, Do you have any sense? Hurry up and leave. I want to chat with beautiful Yin for the whole night. Hua Xiaojin's tears started to form, but she didn't say a word and walked out with her head lowered. Ling Yin originally wanted to trick Qin Feng into going to her room, but when she saw this man's impatient expression, Ling Yin suppressed the anger in her heart. However, before she obtained the spiritual weapon, she couldn't explode. Magistrate Xiao, you're really tall and sturdy. Let this little girl toast you. Ling Yin poured a glass of wine for Qin Feng, but in a split second, she put some knockout drug in it. If this was done in front of an ordinary person, they would definitely not be able to see it. However, How could she see through Qin Feng's sharp eyes? Qin Feng pretended not to see anything. When he received the glass of wine, he purposely touched Ling Yun'er's lily-white hand, deliberately angering this woman. Huh, this young master is very happy to be able to drink and chat with a great beauty like Yun'er. Ling Yun'er was so angry that she almost exploded. However, she suppressed the anger in her heart when she saw Qin Feng tilt his head back and drink the wine. Magistrate Xiao, this little girl toasts you again. Ling Yun'er was afraid that the effect of the knockout drug wasn't enough, so she poured another glass. Qin Feng didn't refuse. He had the all-purpose antidote in his body, so any poison that entered his body was automatically neutralized. Being touched by Qin Feng again, Ling Yun'er was so angry that she almost crushed her teeth. She lost her patience. Seeing that the 2 glasses of wine were enough, she started to get to the point. Magistrate Xiao, where's the spiritual sword you took out at noon? Why don't you take it out and let me see it? Ling Yun'er's voice sounded as if she was acting coquettishly. This woman's looks were not bad, and her skin was as white as snow. In addition, after cultivating, her body had a hint of immortal qi. If an ordinary man was in front of her, they would have long since pounced on her. However, Qin Feng didn't feel anything. All of the women around him were prettier than Ling Yun. Even that girl, Hua Xiaojun, was prettier than Ling Yun after she dressed up. Beautiful Yun wants to see the great protector sword. Qin Feng pretended to be lecherous and even twitched his eyebrows at Ling Yun'er. Ling Yun'er's lily-white hand instinctively touched the long sword at her waist. She almost slashed Qin Feng, but she endured it and continued to smile. That's right, Magistrate Xiao, I want to see your great protector sword. Qin Feng laughed loudly. He suddenly stood up and looked like he was going to undo his belt. Ling Yun'er was embarrassed and angry. She slammed the table and shouted, "Xiao, what are you doing?" The woman was completely enraged. Qin Feng looked at her in confusion and said, "Didn't you want to see my great protector sword? I'm taking it out now." Ling Yun'er was stunned and couldn't react for a moment. But very quickly, her face was so red that it seemed like it was going to burn. This Xiao was really too shameless. Magistrate Xiao, I'm talking about that pink spirit sword, Ling Yun'er said through gritted teeth. Qin Feng slapped his forehead and looked as if he had suddenly realized something. Io, so beautiful Yun'er wants to see that sword. I almost misunderstood. Qin Feng didn't finish his sentence. Instead, he looked into his thighs. He was deliberately angering Ling Yun'er. This woman almost killed him. Ling Yun'er was about to go crazy because of Qin Feng. If it wasn't for the spirit sword and the other spirit weapons on Qin Feng's body, she would have slashed this reckless brat in half. Beautiful Yun'er, don't be anxious. I'll take out the treasure for you now. Seeing that Ling Yun'er was so angry that she didn't say anything, Qin Feng waved his hand and a jade bottle appeared in his hand. Ling Yun'er almost pulled out her sword again. She thought that Qin Feng was playing with her again. But halfway through her action, she was stunned. The room was filled with a rich fragrance of medicine. What Qin Feng took out was a bottle of medicinal pills. What kind of medicinal pill is this? Ling Yun'er's eyes lit up. Qin Feng poured out one pill. The pill was round and milky white. It looked like a pearl. This is the essence gathering pill. It can condense spiritual energy and increase the speed of cultivation. As a disciple of the Holy Gate, Ling Yun'er naturally knew what the spirit-gathering pill was. Her eyes suddenly lit up as she stared at the spirit-gathering pill in Qin Feng's hand. It was as if she was staring at a spring in a desert. Essence-gathering pill? Is this really a grade 5 essence-gathering pill? Ling Yun'er was stunned. She looked at Qin Feng and the pill in his hand in disbelief. Isn't this brat just the magistrate of the West Town Yamen? Where did he get so many treasures? A pink spirit weapon and a grade 5 essence gathering pill? One had to know how precious medicinal pills were to Holy Gate disciples. Moreover, this was a grade 5 essence gathering pill. Even with Ling Yun'er's status in the Spirit Beast sect, she had never eaten a grade 5 essence gathering pill. Quick, give it to me. After regaining her senses, Ling Yun'er snatched the essence gathering pill without hesitation and swallowed it. Her face was filled with ecstasy. She had been stuck at stage 4 true Qi for more than 2 years. With the help of the essence gathering pill, she might have a chance to break through to stage 5 true Qi. This grade 5 essence gathering pill was indeed precious, but it was nothing in Qin Feng's eyes. During the alchemy conference, Hua Tuo refined the upgraded version of the essence gathering pill, the ascending spirit pill. That ascending spirit pill was a grade 6 gold pill, which was a level higher than the essence gathering pill. Looking at the excited Ling Yuner, Qin Feng was amused. The reason why he took out the essence gathering pill was naturally not to give it to her out of kindness. Qin Feng had added poison into the pill. When the medicinal effect took effect, it would suppress Ling Yuner's strength. Ha ha ha! County Magistrate Xiao, you really are my treasure. Ling Yuner felt that the pill had already entered her bloodstream. She stared at Qin Feng and laughed uncontrollably. She calculated the time, and the knockout drug was about to take effect. When Qin Feng fainted, she would snatch away this guy's treasure. Qin Feng pretended that nothing had happened and said with a smile, "Beautiful Yuner, what you said is wrong. How can I be your treasure? You are more like my little treasure." Qin Feng revealed a naughty smile and stared at Ling Yuner's chest. Ling Yuner's laughter suddenly stopped. She was so angry that she wanted to stab Qin Feng's head with her sword. However, before she could pull out her longsword, she heard Qin Feng continue. "That's right, beautiful Yuner. I have some doubts about cultivation. I wonder if you could explain it to me?" "What doubts?" Ling Yuner's expression was cold. Qin Feng acted as if he didn't see it. Why are all the martial artists in the divine great land at the true Qi realm? Are there no lower realms? This question had been bottled up in Qin Feng's heart for a long time. Ever since he entered the dead door, whether it was the thugs from the black shop, the bandits, or the bailiffs, they were all experts in the true Qi realm. It was as if there was no inner Qi realm here. Ling Yuner looked at Qin Feng strangely and said, "Are you from here or not? The divine great land's spiritual energy is abundant. Stepping into the threshold of cultivation starts from the first stage of true Qi. Do you think there are lower realms?" Qin Feng was shocked. The divine great land actually started from the first stage of true Qi. He suddenly thought of the system's heavenly blessing and earthly cave pavilion. When he first unlocked this interface, Little Pig said that if one cultivated in the heavenly blessing and earthly cave pavilion, they would directly start from the true Qi realm. The spiritual energy in the divine great land was as thick as the heavenly blessing and earthly cave pavilion. It seemed that this was simply an enlarged version of the innate cave pavilion. Ling Yuner still stared at Qin Feng suspiciously. The suspicion in her heart grew stronger. There were realms below true Qi, but those realms were the inner Qi realm of martial artists in the outside world. Ling Yuner had just returned from the outside world and had some understanding of the secular world of China. Why aren't you saying anything? Could it be that you know there are realms below true Qi realm? Ling Yuner asked in a low voice. Qin Feng realized that this woman was somewhat suspicious of him. He said unhurriedly, "Beautiful Yuner, what's wrong? Why are you being so serious? How would I know what realms there are below true Qi realm? I haven't even broken through to true Qi realm, so I don't know anything. That's why I'm asking you." Ling Yuner had long discovered that Qin Feng didn't have any true Qi fluctuations on his body. Indeed, he hadn't stepped into the path of cultivation. However, when she thought about how she wanted to snatch the spirit sword from Qin Feng's hands at noon in the Great Hall, she thought it was a bit strange that the brat could avoid her. However, she couldn't figure it out for a while, so Ling Yuner focused her attention on Qin Feng's treasures. Compared to those spirit weapons and spirit pills, Ling Yuner was too lazy to care about what secrets Qin Feng had. "County Magistrate Xiao, what other spirit weapons and spirit pills do you have? Take them all out and let this little girl have a look." This woman was indeed sinister and cunning. She was cold just now, but now she was smiling at Qin Feng. However, Qin Feng couldn't take out his spirit weapons. Previously, he had fought with the Extinction Sect's disciples in the outside world. He had used the Golden Phoenix, the Golden Wheel, the Rainbow Demon Storm Spear, and other super spirit weapons. If he took them out, Ling Yun'er would definitely find out. Beautiful Yun'er, I've hidden all those spirit weapons in the secret room. Tonight, I only have one spirit gathering pill on me. When I'm free, I'll take you to see them. Qin Feng casually found an excuse. Ling Yun'er felt suffocated. She could tell that this Qiao guy wasn't stupid at all. He purposely hid the spirit weapons to save his life. Ling Yun'er couldn't really kill Qin Feng. After a moment of silence, she suddenly said something else. County Magistrate Qiao, you have to keep your word. I'm waiting for you to take me to see your collection of spirit weapons. That's right, there's another matter I need County Magistrate Qiao's help with. Recently, there's a brat who was blind and offended the Spirit Beast sect. Our sect leader issued a wanted order. This is the brat's portrait. Put up the notice tomorrow morning. If anyone can provide clues about this person, the Spirit Beast sect will reward them with 10 taels of gold. Chapter 1366. Qin Feng glanced at the portrait drawn in ink on the white paper and almost jumped up. Wasn't that him? Magistrate Xiao, why are you so excited? Have you seen this person before? Ling Yun'er stared at Qin Feng and asked. Qin Feng quickly calmed down. He was glad that he changed his appearance to Qiao Feng and entered the Despair Gate. He shook his head and said, I've never seen this person before. I was just shocked by his handsome appearance. Beautiful Yun'er, what did this handsome guy do? What a pity. Ling Yun'er was so angry that she rolled her eyes. She wanted to kill Qin Feng, but this Xiao guy said he was handsome. Magistrate Xiao, why are you looking at me like that? This person looks like a pile of dog shit. He's not even as handsome as you. Qin Feng didn't know whether Ling Yun'er was praising him or scolding him. He quickly realized another problem. At that time, he almost died in the formation. Later, he killed those mountain bandits and left with Hua Xiaojun. How could this Ling Yun'er be sure that he didn't die? Otherwise, why would she put out a warrant for his arrest? However, Qin Feng didn't want to ask too much about this in case Ling Yun'er became suspicious. He looked at the time and saw that the poison in the spirit-gathering pill had completely dissipated. Qin Feng's face suddenly lit up with an evil smile. Magistrate Xiao, what are you smiling at? Ling Yun'er was very unhappy with Qin Feng's vulgar smile. Her pretty face turned cold. Qin Feng acted as if he didn't hear her. He stood up and walked toward her. When he first entered the Despair Gate, Qin Feng swore that the next time he saw Ling Yun'er, he would definitely teach her a lesson. Qin Feng had always been a man of his words. Surnamed Qiao, if you dare take half a step closer, I'll make your head roll on the ground. Qin Feng had already walked to Ling Yun'er's side. Ling Yun'er's jade-like hand grasped the hilt of her sword, ready to attack at any time. However, Qin Feng ignored her. He suddenly reached out and hooked her chin, saying, Beautiful Yun'er, didn't you look for me in the middle of the night to play with you? Why are you embarrassed? Ling Yun'er was shocked at first. Her eyes were filled with disbelief. When she regained her senses, she immediately pulled out the sword. The long sword trembled, but it was caught by Qin Feng's 2 fingers. With a slight force, the long sword actually fell to the ground. What's going on? Why can't I circulate my Jinqi? Ling Yun'er was dumbstruck. She looked at her own hands like a fool. Qin Feng had already expected this. He pulled her into his embrace and caressed her. Beautiful Yun'er, don't leave tonight. I'll teach you how to be a woman. Ling Yun'er was so angry that her lungs were about to explode. She was a dignified, genius disciple of the Spirit Beast sect. How could she look up to a mere county magistrate? However, Ling Yun'er tried her best, but was unable to activate her true qi. In the end, she used brute force to struggle, but she was unable to break free from Qin Feng's embrace. Xiao, you dare to touch me? Who the fuck are you? You're not even fit to carry my shoes. Hurry up and let go. Otherwise, when I recover my strength, I'll tear you to pieces and feed you to the dogs. Voila! Just as Ling Yun'er finished speaking, a few pieces of her clothes were ripped off by Qin Feng. Her fragrant shoulders and long legs were revealed, and a wave of fragrance wafted through the room. Ling Yun'er clenched her teeth so hard that they were about to break. She still couldn't understand how a mere county magistrate of West Town dared to lay a hand on her. Soon, she thought of another matter. She angrily shouted, "You drugged the spirit-gathering pill? You lowly commoner, you're courting death. Beautiful Yunner, how can a spirit pill be eaten for free? One spirit pill in exchange for one night is already very worth it." Qin Feng deliberately angered this woman. Ling Yunner's clothes had already been torn to pieces by Qin Feng. She gave off a wild and seductive feeling. Gotcha! However, at this moment, the door was suddenly pushed open. Hua Xiaojin entered the room and froze at the door. She covered her small mouth to prevent herself from screaming. She looked at young Master Qiao and Ling Yunner in disbelief. Qin Feng abruptly stopped what he was doing. Being caught by Hua Xiaojin made him a little embarrassed. When Ling Yunner saw that someone had arrived, she hurriedly yelled at Hua Xiaojin, "What are you still standing there for, you lowly servant? Hurry up and call for help." Hua Xiaojin suddenly woke up. However, she didn't leave. Instead, she walked into the room and locked the door. This action stunned Qin Feng and Ling Yunner. They didn't know what Hua Xiaojin was thinking. However, they saw her quickly walk toward Qin Feng and suddenly grab Ling Yunner's struggling hands. "Xiaojin, what are you doing?" Qin Feng looked at her blankly. Ling Yunner angrily shouted, "You lowly servant, you dare to grab me? Hurry up and let go of me. Believe it or not, I'll find a beggar on the street to do you." Hua Xiaojin was a little angry, but she ignored Ling Yunner. She looked at Qin Feng and said, "Young Master Qiao, you want to do this woman, right? This lowly servant will help you control her." Qin Feng suddenly froze. He felt as if his view of the world had been turned upside down. Were all the maids of the divine great land so understanding? Qin Feng wondered if he should bring a dozen of them back when he left. Ling Yunner was still shouting. She looked down on Qin Feng and Hua Xiaojin. Qin Feng was already angry. He wanted to teach this woman a lesson. Hua Xiaojin grabbed Ling Yunner from beginning to end, but she didn't dare to look around. However, when she heard the sound, Hua Xiaojin was a little excited. She had slept with Qin Feng for a few nights, but young Master Qiao didn't touch her. She felt a little disappointed. Half an hour later, Qin Feng put on his clothes. Ling Yunner was lying on the ground, covered in sweat. She glared at Qin Feng. If the true qi in her body hadn't disappeared, she would have cut Qin Feng and Hua Xiaojin into 1,000 pieces. During this time, Sun Dao and Xialong came by. They had the same goal as Ling Yunner. They wanted to cheat Qin Feng of his treasures. However, when the two of them walked to the door, they heard Ling Yunner's voice. They immediately became angry and secretly scolded this woman for not following the rules of a woman. After the big battle, Hua Xiaojin retreated to the side. Qin Feng was a little embarrassed after he calmed down. He secretly glanced at Hua Xiaojin and was relieved to see that she looked normal. "Qiao, you can kill me now if you can. If you let me leave this door, you and that woman will be chopped into meat paste." Ling Yunner was too lazy to put on her clothes since she had been taken by Qin Feng. She was so angry that her chest heaved. Qin Feng had to admit that the girl was beautiful and had a good figure, but Qin Feng had no feelings for her at all. He strode over with Moon's sorrow in his hand. Ling Yunner was so scared that she was trembling. "Magistrate Qiao, don't kill me." Seeing that the sword was about to fall, Ling Yunner, who had been cold and arrogant a second ago, suddenly gave in. Hua Xiaojin despised her cowardly look. Moon's sorrow hung above Ling Yunner's head. Qin Feng sneered. "Spare your life? You have to give me a reason." At this moment, Ling Yunner was so angry that her blood was boiling. Even if you beat her to death, she would never have imagined that she would end up like this. A mere Yamen magistrate was not even comparable to a dog at her eyes. But now, he had taken over her body and even decided her life. However, no matter how dissatisfied she was, Ling Yunner couldn't vent. She suddenly looked at Qin Feng charmingly and said, "I can serve Magistrate Qiao every night in the future. I only ask that Magistrate Qiao spare my life." Hua Xiaojin didn't want to care about young Master Qiao's business. She knew that she didn't have the right to, but she couldn't stand Ling Yunner. This woman was sinister and cunning. If young Master Qiao kept her by his side, he would get into trouble sooner or later. "Young Master Qiao, Hua Xiaojun called out pitifully, but she didn't say anything else. Qin Feng was a bit embarrassed facing Hua Xiaojun, but he understood what she meant. Xiaojun, go to sleep first. I'll go to Ling Yun'er's room to talk about some business. Ling Yun'er put on her clothes, and the two left the room. Hua Xiaojun looked at the empty room and sat on the bed alone, crying secretly. She thought that Qin Feng went to Ling Yun'er's room to continue doing that. Now that young Master Qiao was bewitched by Ling Yun'er, Hua Xiaojun was worried that young Master Qiao would abandon her. Qin Feng didn't think that Hua Xiaojun would think so much. Otherwise, he would have explained it to her first before leaving. At this time, the two of them arrived at Ling Yun'er's room. Ling Yun'er was about to take off her clothes, but Qin Feng stopped her. Do you really think that I spared your life because of your beauty? I don't care about your looks. Even my servant girl, Xiaojun, is 10,000 times better than you. Ling Yun'er was angered to death. No matter what, she could be considered a beauty in the Holy Gate, and there were countless disciples pursuing her. But now, she was being looked down upon by a small county magistrate. This was simply a humiliation. Magistrate Xiao, what will it take for you to let me go? Ling Yun'er could only suppress her anger and plan to deal with Qin Feng after she escaped. How could her little thoughts escape Qin Feng's eyes? Qin Feng said, "The spirit-gathering pill I gave you is extremely poisonous. The poison will suppress the true qi in your body. If you forcefully use your true qi, your tendons and veins will break, and you will bleed to death." Ling Yun'er was so scared that her legs trembled. As a genius female disciple of Spirit Beast sect, she stepped into true qi stage for the young age of 25. Her future was bright, and she didn't want to die so easily. Magistrate Xiao, we have no enmity between us. Why did you poison me? Ling Yun'er was puzzled. Qin Feng sneered in his heart. You woman almost killed me, and you said there was no enmity between us? However, he couldn't reveal his identity now. If that happened, he had to kill Ling Yun'er. However, Ling Yun'er came with Red Sun Sect and White Song Sect disciples. If she suddenly died, it would definitely arouse suspicion. Let me ask you, where is Spirit Beast sect? Qin Feng went straight to the point. Ling Yun'er was stunned for a moment, and her eyes became vigilant. Magistrate Xiao, why are you asking this? I see that your Sacred Gate disciples have noble identities and are all skilled in martial arts. I also want to join the Sacred Gate. I want to go to Spirit Beast sect to be apprenticed to a master. Okay? Qin Feng casually made up an excuse. Ling Yun'er felt depressed. Spirit Beast sect was a huge sect. How could you be apprenticed to a master just because you wanted to? Only by passing the disciple selection once every 3 years would you have the chance to join the various sacred gates. Magistrate Xiao, you definitely can't go to Spirit Beast sect rashly. Not only will you not be apprenticed to a master, you might even be treated as an enemy and killed. Ling Yun'er was very vigilant. She didn't reveal any information about Spirit Beast sect's location. Chapter 1367. Qin Feng knew what Ling Yun'er was thinking. When the elders of Spirit Beast sect came, this woman would definitely complain. At that time, not to mention going to Spirit Beast sect, she might even kill him in the yamen. However, he pretended to be stupid and said, "Is what you said true? Is your sect Grand Elder easy to talk to? What if he doesn't take me back?" Seeing that Qin Feng had taken the bait, Ling Yun'er hurriedly said, "Don't worry, Magistrate Xiao. When the time comes, I'll do my best to recommend you. Now that you've taken my body, of course I'll wholeheartedly follow you." Ling Yun'er began to pretend to be charming again. Qin Feng sneered in his heart. "Okay, then I'll believe you this once. If the elders really don't agree, I'll just give them the powder equipment I've kept for many years. That way, they'll take me back, right?" Qin Feng said it casually, but Ling Yun'er was stunned. This brat really hid a few rare powder equipment, but if he really told the elders about these equipment, how would Ling Yun'er have a chance to get them? They would all be taken away by the elders. Magistrate Xiao, you mustn't tell the elders about the equipment and pills. Ling Yun'er urged anxiously. Qin Feng obviously understood this woman's thoughts, but he pretended to be confused and said, why not? Could it be that you don't want me to join Spirit Beast sect? You just said you want to follow me wholeheartedly. You're a bitch. Qin Feng cursed and cursed. Ling Yun'er almost exploded with anger, but she still smiled and said, "Don't be angry, Lord Xiao. I'm already your woman. How can I not help you? I'm doing this to save you. If you tell the elders of Spirit Beast sect about the equipment and pills, they will definitely kill you." "Oh, those elders are so vicious?" Qin Feng looked nervous. "Lord Xiao, it's because I've become your woman. Otherwise, why would I say such things to others? Those elders are powerful and vicious. Try not to come into contact with them. When the time comes, I'll help you pave the way." Qin Feng laughed coldly in his heart. This woman, Ling Yun'er, really knew how to act. Her words sounded even better than her singing. Qin Feng didn't expose him. He said with some fear, "I see. Thank goodness you reminded me. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to keep my life. Then I'll listen to you. I won't tell anyone about the spiritual weapon and spiritual pill. However, the disciples of the White Warehouse sect and the Red Sun sect also know about the spiritual weapon. What should I do?" Ling Yun'er was not worried that Xiao Long and Sun Dao would leak the news, because if that happened, the two of them would not be able to get a single spiritual artifact. At that time, it would be the elders of the three sects fighting over the powder equipment and spiritual pills. After talking about the spiritual weapons, Qin Feng asked about another important matter. "Ling Yun'er, tell me in detail about the battle between the two cities. How many experts will the three sacred gates of distant ice cities send?" Ling Yun'er didn't think too much and said, "This time, our Spirit Beast sect master is determined to take Meteor City's territory. 3 days later, they will send a great elder at the 7th stage of True Qi, 3 elders at the 6th stage of True Qi, and many disciples. The forces that the Red Sun sect and the White Warehouse sect will send are about the same as the Spirit Beast sect." Qin Feng was shocked. This time, they were going to gather 3 powerful experts at the 7th stage of True Qi, 6 at the 6th stage of True Qi, and countless disciples at the 3rd, 4th, and 5th stage. If such a powerful force was brought to the secular world of China and the outer world of martial arts, just standing there would scare the martial artists of the outside world to death. Currently, the strongest expert Qin Feng met was only at the 6th stage of True Qi. Now that he was injured, he was more or less worried. 20%. Are there any rules when the battle starts? Qin Feng continued to ask. Ling Yun'er looked at Qin Feng strangely. She increasingly felt that this person wasn't from this side. Why didn't he know any common sense? However, her life was still in Qin Feng's hands, so she didn't dare to ask any more questions. She said, "There are 2 ways to fight a war between 2 cities. One is to start an all-out war and fight to the death until the entire army is wiped out. The other is for both cities to send out some experts and let these experts fight. The side that wins the city." After talking with Ling Yun'er for a long time, Qin Feng understood more about the matters of the Divine Continent. He preferred the first way. These sacred gates weren't good people. It was best to fight to the death. After asking what he needed to ask, Qin Feng didn't stay for long. Just as he was about to leave, he was suddenly hugged by Ling Yun'er from behind. Ling Yun'er's heartbeat sped up. Ever since she was forcefully pushed by the spirit crane in the outside world, she would sometimes want that kind of thing. Tonight, Qin Feng's power subdued her. She didn't resist and instead enjoyed it. In the dead of night, Ling Yun'er thought about it again. She was surprised to find herself immersed in Qin Feng's power. "Woman, what are you doing?" Qin Feng shook off Ling Yun'er's arm and stared at her coldly. "Lord Xiao, don't leave tonight. Let this little girl serve you well." Ling Yun'er's almond-shaped eyes were filled with lust. Qin Feng was shocked. He knew that Ling Yun'er didn't need to dig any traps or tricks. Did this woman really want it? This made Qin Feng depressed. He couldn't understand Ling Yun'er's thoughts. "I'm tired tonight. Let's talk about it next time." Qin Feng hurriedly ran out of Ling Yun'er's room. Qin Feng came to punish this woman in the battle not long ago. He didn't expect that he wouldn't humiliate her. This woman was addicted to it. She really didn't know how to behave. When Qin Feng returned to his room, he found that Hua Xiaojin still hadn't fallen asleep. She hurriedly stood up from the bed and wiped the tears from her eyes. It was obvious that she had cried for a long time. Xiaojin, what's wrong? Qin Feng came up and asked with concern. Hua Xiaojin shook her head and didn't say anything. Qin Feng pulled her to the bed and sat her down. After asking a few times, this girl finally spoke. Qi, young Master Qiao, why you like that woman? Hua Xiaojin asked carefully. Her heart was about to jump out of her throat. If young Master Qiao really liked that woman, then wouldn't she be abandoned? How could I like Ling Yin'er? That woman is vicious. I'm just acting with her. Don't worry about this. Qin Feng rubbed Hua Xiaojin's head. Hua Xiaojin's anxious heart finally calmed down. She had long felt that Ling Yin'er didn't have good intentions. She wanted to warn young Master Qiao, but she found that young Master Qiao was an understanding person. He was just pretending to be confused. Aya, young Master Qiao, please don't blame me. This lowly servant will go fill the bathwater. Hua Xiaojin had been worried all night. Only now did she realize that she didn't even prepare the bathwater. She hurriedly ran to get busy. Soon, Qin Feng was lying in the warm wooden tub. Hua Xiaojin carefully rubbed and massaged him. Tonight, Hua Xiaojin was a bit strange. Her eyes occasionally glanced at Qin Feng's legs. Hua Xiaojin knew that Qin Feng didn't like Ling Yin'er. But why did he push that woman down? When she thought about this, Hua Xiaojin's eyes brightened. Young Master Qiao was a hot-blooded man. Naturally, he needed to solve some physiological problems. Young Master Qiao, this lowly servant is bold. Please don't blame me, young Master Qiao. Hua Xiaojin said out of the blue. Qin Feng was stunned. Suddenly, he saw this woman lower her head and move closer to his thigh. Chapter 1368. The war between the two cities was imminent, and Distant Ice City was engulfed in a storm. Under the request of the three sacred gates, the officials of the various government offices began to recruit soldiers and prepare to go to war. The young men in the city were all captured and looked as if they were waiting for death. Hua Xiaojin was frightened by this chaotic situation and was on tenterhooks every day. Qin Feng looked at the originally happy and stable families being torn apart and felt somewhat upset. However, he could not even protect himself and had no power to manage these miscellaneous matters. 3 days after Ling Yin'er and the others arrived, the elders of the three sacred gates of Distant Ice City arrived with their teams. This west town was the closest town to the sunset gazing mountain at the border of Meteor City, so all the disciples of the sacred gate were gathered here. As for the able-bodied men that were captured from other towns, they would eventually gather here and go to war. The arrival of Xie Long and the others made the people of the West Town government restless. Now that the elders of the three sacred gates had personally led their teams here, the people of the government office were even more frightened. Early in the morning, there were already 2 long queues outside the government office. Ling Yin'er and the other disciples of the government office all came out to welcome them. There were close to 100 people, all of them riding on tall horses. The 3 great elders of the 3 sects were walking at the very front, each wearing a different sect's uniform. Behind them were their own sect's disciples. Just the majestic procession alone was enough to make people feel fearful. Disciple Ling Yin'er greets Great Elder Ling Chong and Elder Ling Wei. Disciple Sun Dao greets Great Elder Sun He and Elder Sun Wan. Disciple Xie Long greets Great Elder Xie Juetian. Seeing the people coming, Ling Yin'er and the others immediately went to welcome them and greeted the elders respectfully. The Spirit Beast sect and the Red Sun sect each sent a Great Elder and an Elder. On the other hand, White Song only sent Great Elder Xie Juetian. The 3 sects each brought over 30 disciples. Qin Feng looked around and saw that they were all experts at the 3rd stage of True Qi and above. There were 100 True Qi realm experts gathered outside the government office. There were even 3 experts at the 7th stage of True Qi and quite a few at the 6th stage of True Qi. As for those at the 4th and 5th stage of True Qi, they were as many as dogs. Such a magnificent formation shocked Qin Feng. This was even more powerful than the group of Despair Sect's disciples who had come out of closed-door training when he was in Hero City. Qin Feng was worried that even if he used the Black Dragon tank, Would he be able to defeat this group of people? Where's the manager here? Are you tired of living? While Qin Feng was in a daze, the great elders of the three sects were unhappy. Each of their faces was colder than the last. The great elder of the spirit beast sect, Ling Chong, had the highest position and was already shouting. Everyone in the yamen was so scared that they almost knelt down. Wei Changming kept signaling Qin Feng with his eyes. Wang Long, Li Hu, and the others couldn't wait to shake Qin Feng's arm to wake him up. This was the great elder of the Holy Gate. If they were angered, they could destroy the entire yamen with a snap of their fingers. Young Master Qiao. Hua Xiaojin called out softly. She was also frightened. Without waiting for Qin Feng to step forward, Ling Yun'er had already started to speak up for her. Elder Ling Chong, Zhang Mo Qi. This yamen is filled with low-level warriors. Clearly, they were shocked by Elder Ling Chong's might. Great Elder Sun He, it must have been hard on you. Disciple will help you to hold the horse. Thank you. Great Elder Tian Qi, Sun Dao, and Xialong were actually speaking up for Qin Feng. The three of them had the same thought. They had been eyeing the pink spiritual weapon on Qin Feng for the past few days. They didn't want the elders to kill Qin Feng with a single palm strike. Just as Ling Yun'er had guessed, Sun Dao and Xialong didn't plan to tell the elders about the spiritual weapon. If that was the case, how would they get a share? Qin Feng walked up with large strides. His expression didn't change much as he faced the three great elders. I am Qiao Feng, the county magistrate of the West Town Yamen. I knew that the three great elders would be coming today, so I led everyone to wait for a long time. Qin Feng's attitude was neither servile nor overbearing. Ling Chong and the other two were slightly stunned. As the great elders of the Holy Gate, their status was extremely honorable. Even the city lord of the distant Eye City had to humble himself and curry favor with the three of them. Who would have thought that a mere county magistrate would have such an attitude? A mere county magistrate dares to act big in front of me? I think you don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Ling Chong's face turned cold. Waves of true qi burst out from his body, and the bailiffs couldn't breathe. Wei Changming even knelt on the ground. Ling Yun'er jumped in fright. She cursed Qin Feng's arrogance inwardly. It was fine if he acted big in front of her, but he actually dared to act big in front of the Holy Gate's great elders? Great Elder Ling Chong, you have a noble status. Why are you angry at an ant-like county magistrate? His standards are too low, and he doesn't know the noble status that Great Elder represents. Ling Chong looked at Ling Yun'er strangely after she said all the good things she wanted to say. He felt that something was wrong. Ling Yun'er, could it be that you have some relationship with that kid? Why are you always speaking up for him? When Ling Yun'er saw that Grand Elder Ling Chong had noticed something fishy, she was scared to death. She had concealed the matter of the spiritual artifact from Grand Elder Ling Chong. If this matter was exposed, Ling Yun'er could imagine her tragic death. Great Elder Ling Chong has misunderstood. How could I have any relationship with that ant-like person? It's just that this West Town is the closest to the sunset-gazing mountain. That Xiao guy is very familiar with the terrain around here. We still need him to help us fight. Ling Yun'er made up an excuse. Ling Chong glared at Qin Feng coldly and ignored her. It was just as Ling Yun'er said. The Holy Gate's great elder status was extremely noble. Ling Chong even felt that if he spoke to Qin Feng, his status would drop a little. Have all the able-bodied men in distant Ice City been captured? Ling Chong had already gotten down to business. Ling Yun'er hurriedly replied, Don't worry, Great Elder Ling Chong. I've already passed on this matter 3 days ago. Currently, all 23 towns in distant Ice City have gathered a large number of troops, and they'll gather here by tomorrow morning at the latest. Ling Chong nodded and continued, All right, then we will set off after tomorrow morning. This time, the sect master intends to send out experts to fight to prevent the two cities from fighting to the death. Ling Chong stated his intention in front of everyone, but his words were mainly for Sun He and Xieju Etienne to hear. Among the 3 holy gates of distant Ice City, the Spirit Beast sect was the strongest. The words of the Spirit Beast sect master were equivalent to the city's imperial edict. Sun He and Xie were a little displeased, but they agreed with the spirit beast's sex intentions. No one wanted to fight to the death. The Holy Gate's great elder had already been brought to the Yamen and arranged to stay in a high-class guest room. As for the Holy Gate's disciples, there were a few of them staying in one room. After all, there were more than 100 people in one go, and the Yamen was running out of rooms. Even Wei Changming, Wang Long, Li Hu, and the others had to give up their rooms and sleep in the courtyard. Qin Feng and Hua Xiaojun returned to their room. The moment they entered, Hua Xiaojun said worriedly, "Young Master Qiao, let's leave quickly." Qin Feng understood Hua Xiaojun's worries. Now that so many Holy Gate's disciples had arrived, even Qin Feng was a little worried. They were going to the Sunset Visualization Mountain to investigate the situation tomorrow. Qin Feng didn't dare to bring Hua Xiaojun along, afraid that something might happen. "Xiaojun, ride the flaming dragon horse back to Hua family village tomorrow morning." Qin Feng had already started to make arrangements for Hua Xiaojun's safety. The flaming dragon horse was a high-grade spiritual horse. He believed that Hua Xiaojun wouldn't be easily caught by others. "Boo-hoo, young Master Qiao, don't abandon this lowly servant. If this lowly servant has done anything wrong, I will definitely correct it." Hua Xiaojun suddenly knelt in front of Qin Feng and cried her heart out. Qin Feng felt helpless. He carried her to the bed and helped her wipe her tears. He said seriously, "Xiaojun, it's not that I don't want you anymore. You should know that the two cities are at war now. If you continue to follow me, there will be danger." Hua Xiaojun's crying gradually stopped as she shook her head with a resolute expression. "Young Master Qiao, Xiaojun is not afraid of death. If it wasn't for young Master Qiao killing the bandits in the bamboo forest that day, Xiaojun would have already committed suicide. This lowly servant's life is already young Master Qiao's. I want to accompany young Master Qiao in life and death." Qin Feng could tell that Hua Xiaojun was speaking from the bottom of her heart. Compared to death, this silly girl was actually more afraid of being abandoned by him. The more sincere Hua Xiaojun was, the more Qin Feng couldn't let her be hurt. He reached out and hugged her in his arms. He said, "Leave tomorrow morning. I promise you that I will come back to find you. If you follow me, you will only drag me down." Hua Xiaojun wasn't stupid at all. She understood Qin Feng's meaning, but she was still very reluctant. How could she watch young Master Qiao go through fire and water? Seeing that Qin Feng's plan was set, no matter how reluctant Hua Xiaojun was, she hid it in her heart. That night, Qin Feng hugged Hua Xiaojun to sleep, but Hua Xiaojun couldn't sleep at all. She looked forward to young Master Qiao suddenly pouncing on her in the middle of the night and ravaging her as fiercely as he ravaged Ling Yuner that night. Qin Feng woke up just as the sky brightened. He gave Hua Xiaojun a few more warnings and had her leave on the flaming dragon horse. Hua Xiaojun started crying the moment she left the Yamen. She cried all the way to Hua family village until her tears dried up. There were many times when she wanted to turn around and return to Qin Feng's side, but in the end, she suppressed this strong urge. The Yamen was surrounded by people early in the morning. Other than the Sacred Gate disciples who rushed over yesterday, there was another black mass of people. These were all able-bodied men captured from various villages in Distant City. Almost all of them had stepped into the realm of true Qi. As for those ordinary villagers who had no strength, they were useless even if they were captured. Even so, close to 10,000 people were captured. At this moment, the streets outside the Yamen were completely blocked, and one couldn't see the end of it. Ling Chong stood at the front of the crowd. The great elders of the Red Sun sect and the White Song sect were half a step behind him. The difference in their status could be seen from this. Ling Yuner, Sun Dao, Xiaolong, and the others stood behind the little elder. As for Qin Feng and the people from the Yamen, they could only stand at the back. Chapter 1369. Ling Chong maintained the posture of an expert. After a long silence, he slowly opened his mouth. Citizens of Distant City, now that 20% of the cities are at war, Distant City is in dire straits. Usually, the spirit beast sect protects everyone's peace and harmony. Now, we need everyone to work together to resist. Once we take down Meteor City, everyone will have a better life. Ling Chong spoke for a long time to trick these able-bodied men into fighting the war. The crowd shook their heads and sighed. They had all sorts of resentment in their hearts, but they didn't dare to say anything. As the poor people of China, they were usually bullied by the Yamen and had to fear the might of the Sacred Gate. They lived the same poor and difficult lives as the peasants of Hua Village. Not only did they have to worry about survival every day, but they were also constantly worried about being bullied. How was this a life of equality? Since when did the Sacred Gate truly protect these poor people? The so-called peace and harmony were all bullshit. The only people who benefited from this city war were the Sacred Gate. What did it have to do with the poor people? Ling Chong could see the dissatisfaction in these people's hearts, but he pretended not to see it. In the end, he even added, "We will set off after the time it takes for a stick of incense to burn. When the two cities start fighting, I hope everyone will do their best. If I find any deserters, I will personally kill them." The crowd sighed even louder, but no one stood up to resist. These people were as stubborn as Hua Xiaozhen. They had been bullied since they were young, and they even felt that this was something they should do. Qin Feng also shook his head and sighed. He felt a trace of helplessness towards these people's foolish thoughts. Not long after, it was time to set off. Under Ling Chong's command, the majestic troops set off towards Sunset Gazing Mountain. Apart from this troop, there was no one else in West Town. The poor people had long since hidden in their homes. In this chaotic time of war, no one dared to run around on the streets. This West Town made Qin Feng feel unfamiliar. He remembered the first time he rode a horse to West Town with Hua Xiaozhen. It was extraordinarily lively. The poor people on the streets were kind-hearted, and the children playing on the streets made Qin Feng feel happy. The willow trees swayed in the breeze, and the kites danced in the dark blue sky. Those scenes could no longer be seen. There was only the thunderous footsteps of the troops and the flying dust behind them. Ding! The Hedonist sovereign system has issued a chain quest, City War Quest. Announcing City War Main Mission. Host Qin Feng. Take down Meteor City and Distant Ice City. Time limit, 3 months. If the mission is completed, the system will reward 100,000 Hedonist points and a Black Dragon combat aircraft. If the mission is failed, 200,000 Hedonist points will be deducted, and your identity will be exposed, and you'll be hunted by all holy gates. Announcing City War Side Mission 1. Muddy the battlefield and cause the sacred gates of Distant Ice City and Meteor City to suffer heavy losses. The time limit for the mission is 3 months. If the mission is successfully completed, the system will reward 50,000 Hedonist points and 1 True Chi pill. If the mission is failed, 100,000 Hedonist points will be deducted. Announcing the second side mission, City Battle. Protect the poor citizens and change their rigid mindset. Time limit, 3 months. The system will reward 50,000 Hedonist points if the mission is successfully completed. If the mission is failed, 100,000 Hedonist points will be deducted. Halfway there, a system notification sounded in Qin Feng's mind. A new quest had been issued. He began to study the City War chain mission. Unknowingly, the team had already arrived at the foot of the cloud-gazing mountain. The team in front stopped, and Qin Feng returned to reality from his thoughts. In front of him was an endless stretch of tall mountains. On the opposite side of the mountain was Meteor City. There were many soldiers guarding the foot of the mountain, and they immediately rushed over when they saw them. "Greetings, Senior Holy Gate." The soldiers guarding the border were all from the Yamen. Their strength was only at stage 1 or stage 2 of True Chi. Although they said that they were guarding the border, it was only for show. Under normal circumstances, the people of the two cities would not cross the border. When the war really broke out, it was still the Holy Gate's disciples who came out from their seclusion. Ling Chong did not put the dozens of soldiers in his eyes at all. He didn't even look at them. He said to Sun He and Xie Ju Tian, "The two of you, go to the other side and check out the situation, Ling Chong's tone sounded like he was ordering a little brother. Sun He and Xie Tian were fuming with anger. As the great elders of the two sects, they were usually very noble in the sect. They had always been the ones ordering others. When had they ever been ordered? Ling Chong, don't push your luck. After all, we are the great elders of the sect. Our positions are equal. Why should I go and check out the situation? Why don't you go? Sun He couldn't help but grumble. Xie Tian naturally stood on his side. He added, I agree with Sun He. If we're going, we should all go together. How can we, the Red Sun sect and White Song, scout the way? Is the Spirit Beast sect trying to reap the benefits of the third party? Seeing that his thoughts were seen through, Ling Chong's expression turned a little ugly. However, he couldn't continue to be forceful. Even if the Spirit Beast sect was more powerful, it was taboo to have internal conflicts when the two cities were at war. What a joke. As the great elder of the Spirit Beast sect, I still have to scout the way? What are you guys thinking? Ling Chong roared angrily. Sun He and Xie Tian almost fainted from anger. You're the great elder, but we're the great elders? The two of them didn't say anything else. They just sat on their horses and didn't do anything. Ling Chong held back his anger. After a moment of stalemate, he shouted to Ling Yin behind him, bring some disciples to scout the situation. See how many experts Meteor City sent this time. Ling Yin's heart sank. She wasn't willing to do this kind of hard work. Even though they had many experts on their side, Meteor City also had the 3 sacred gates. Now that the two cities were at war, they would definitely send many experts over. What are you still standing there for? Ling Chong roared angrily. Ling Yin was so scared that she trembled. Even though she was very unwilling, she didn't dare to delay. However, her eyes turned, and before she left, she suddenly said, Magistrate Xiao, come with me. Qin Feng cursed at this woman's treachery in his heart. However, he quickly calmed down. On the way here, he just received a new mission from the system. If he wanted to complete this mission, he really had to go into Meteor City himself. At the very least, he had to meet the representatives there. Ling Yin called for 4 more disciples. Just as she was about to leave, she heard Ling Chong say, Why aren't your two sects sending disciples? Are you using our Spirit Beast sect's people as cannon fodder? Ling Chong glared at the 2 great elders, Sun He and Xie Tian. The 2 of them couldn't pretend anymore. They sent out Sun Dao and Xie Long to lead the team. There were 15 to 16 people in the group. The weakest was at the 3rd level of True Qi, and the strongest was Xie Long, who was at the 5th level of True Qi. MT Sunset visualization was tall and steep. Normal people couldn't climb it. However, Ling Yin, and the others were experts of the absolute sections. Leaping onto roofs and vaulting over walls was a common occurrence for them. Qin Feng mixed in the group and became the only person without any strength. Seeing that the other disciples had already started to climb the mountain, Qin Feng smiled at Ling Yin and said, Beauty Yin carry me up the mountain. Ling Yin's expression turned cold. If it wasn't for the spirit equipment and spirit pills, she would have killed Qin Feng a few hundred times over. You're a man, and you want me to carry you? Can't you climb it yourself? Qin Feng didn't care about Ling Yin's expression. His smile became even wider. You know I'm just a normal person. How could I climb such a steep mountain? Moreover, I didn't need to come. Didn't you drag me here? Do you want to follow me wholeheartedly or not? Your current attitude makes me very suspicious. Why don't I go find your great elder and give him some spirit equipment and spirit pills? Maybe he'll curry favor with him. Qin Feng's words angered Ling Yin to the point of unsheathing her sword. However, in an instant, the woman's face immediately became coquettish. She took the initiative to bend her waist and half-squat in front of Qin Feng. Lord Xiao, I'll carry you up. I called you here because I wanted to protect you. You mustn't tell Great Elder about the spirit equipment and spirit pills. Otherwise, your life will be in danger. Ling Yin's perky buttocks were raised high. Her back view was enchanting, and her posture was sexy. Qin Feng almost kissed her. He lay on the woman's body. A soft fragrance assaulted his nose. He said, "Be careful when you climb the mountain. Don't touch me." Ling Yin was so angry that her eyes rolled back. She didn't talk nonsense with Qin Feng. She clenched her teeth and prepared to climb the mountain. However, she suddenly discovered that the true qi in her body was suppressed by the poison. She was also a normal person. "Lord Xiao, can you give me the antidote?" Ling Yun's eyes suddenly wandered. Qin Feng gave her a pill without thinking. Ling Yun's expression changed greatly. Since when did this surnamed Xiao become so easy to talk to? Ling Yun didn't think too much. She hurriedly swallowed the pill. Immediately, the true qi in her body recovered and began to surge violently. Swish! Ling Yun turned into a black shadow. It seemed that in a few breaths, she had already reached halfway up the mountain. She jumped on the cliff like a light swallow. It was as if Qin Feng, who was on her back, didn't exist. Ling Yun laughed excitedly in her heart. She finally recovered her true qi. These days, she was miserably plagued by Qin Feng. She wanted to take Qin Feng to a place where there was no one, force him to take out the spirit equipment and spirit pills, and then silence him. "Ling Yun, why are you running so fast?" Sun Dao and Xie Long, who were climbing the mountain, suddenly stared blankly. Ling Yun seemed to have erupted with all her strength to climb the mountain. In the blink of an eye, she had left everyone far behind. Ling Yun didn't pay attention to the two of them. At this moment, she was so excited that she wanted to raise her head to the sky and roar. Qin Feng understood this woman's thoughts. However, looking at his indifferent expression, he didn't put Ling Yun in his eyes at all. Swish, swish, swish. The wind blew past their ears. In any case, Ling Yun was an expert at the fourth stage of true qi. In a short while, she had already climbed to the top of the mountain with Qin Feng on her back. This mountain peak was at least 100 meters high. Qin Feng stood at the top of the mountain and looked at the world of Meteor City across the mountain. At the foot of the mountain, there was a dense mass of people. 80% of them were the expedition team called by Meteor City. Moreover, this mountain peak was endless, and there were many caves that were difficult to detect. Swish! Just as Qin Feng finished observing the terrain, Ling Yun pulled him and flew towards the distant mountain range. Chapter 1370. Ling Yun didn't say anything. She pulled Qin Feng and ran. After a while, the two of them arrived at a cave thousands of meters away. "Yin, beauty, why did you bring me here?" Qin Feng sneered in his heart, but his face was full of doubt. Ling Yun was so excited that she wanted to laugh out loud. She could finally vent the anger that she had been holding in for several days. "Xiao, you dared to violate my body 4 days ago. Today, I will tear you into pieces." Ling Yun's body turned cold. She suddenly pulled out her sword and pointed it at Qin Feng. However, Qin Feng's expression was indifferent, as if he didn't see it. "Ling Yun, you want to kill me again? Killing you would be too easy, bitch. Hurry up and hand over the spiritual weapon and elixir, and I can leave your corpse intact." Now that time was tight. Ling Yun didn't talk nonsense. If Sun Dao and Xie Long found something wrong and came looking for them, it would be troublesome. Qin Feng spread out his hands and said, "Do you see a place on me to hide the spiritual weapon? The spiritual weapon and elixir are hidden in the secret room. If you kill me now, don't even think about getting them." Ling Yun was so angry that she pressed her sword against Qin Feng's neck. She gritted her teeth and shouted, "Xiao, don't think that I don't dare to kill you. I'll give you one last chance. Where are the treasures? If you don't tell me, I will definitely cut off your dog head." A cold light flashed in Qin Feng's eyes. He suddenly sneered and said, "Huh? Do you really think you can kill me? Then do it." Ling Yun was so angry that her body trembled. For a moment, she lost her mind. She shook her sword, but there was no scene of a head falling to the ground. Qin Feng's fingers clamped the sword, and it fell to the ground again. You. Ling Yun's expression changed greatly. She was so scared that she kept retreating. She couldn't say a complete sentence for a long time. She was about to use her true qi, but she found that it was suddenly suppressed. Qin Feng had already walked up with a smile. "Tis TSK. I really didn't expect you to have such a venomous heart. Luckily, I had a trick up my sleeve and put poison in the antidote pill you ate. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to keep my life." Qin Feng's words almost made Ling Yun vomit blood. She finally came to her senses. Xiao looked silly, but in fact, he was more cunning than anyone else. Ling Yun's heart was in a mess due to the sudden change in the situation. Not only did she fail to snatch Qin Feng's spiritual weapons and spiritual pills, but she was also being controlled by him. What do you want?" Qin Feng was less than a meter away, and Ling Yun's legs began to tremble. "Don't be afraid. I won't kill you. It's just that your sincerity is starting to make me suspicious. I should go find your sect's great elder and give him some benefits. In the future, he will be able to protect me." Ling Yun'er was so frightened that her face turned deathly pale. If the great elder found out that she was hiding the matter of the spiritual weapons and spiritual pills, she might as well let Qin Feng kill her right now. Ling Yun'er realized that she was really done for this time. Her eyes darted around quickly. She suddenly pulled off the ribbon around her waist and threw herself into Qin Feng's arms. "Feng S. Qi of Tifti Feng, come on." This woman's expression changed as she wished. She knelt in front of Qin Feng and buried her head in his thighs. Qin Feng didn't stop her. He tyrannically ravaged Ling Yun'er. The mountain valley was filled with shouts and shouts. Qin Feng's emotions surged as he looked at the crowd below. "Ling Yun'er, how dare you take County Magistrate Xiao away? What do you want?" While the two of them were fighting fiercely, Sun Dao and Xie Long came to find them. They thought that Ling Yun wanted to take Qin Feng's spiritual weapon for herself. As soon as they arrived at the entrance of the cave, they were stunned. Qin Feng didn't see Sun Dao, and Xie Long Ling Yun was shy. Qin Feng was too powerful. Ling Yun didn't want to stop. She pretended she didn't see anything. 20 minutes later, the two came out. Sun Dao and Xie Long were waiting with more than 10 disciples. Ling Yun's shouts made them feel like a cat was scratching their hearts. But they could do nothing but listen. "Ling Yun, are you shameless? You could do such a thing to get the spirit weapon. You're so despicable." Xie Long and Sun Dao were so angry that smoke came out of their heads. They were flattering Qin Feng. Whoever could have a good relationship with Qin Feng would get the spirit weapon sooner or later. But as men, Xie Long and Sun Dao couldn't use a honey trap. They couldn't take the soap, right? The main thing was that Xiao didn't mean to throw the soap. Ling Yun was embarrassed, but she pretended nothing happened. She stared at the two and said, "I admire County Magistrate Xiao. What does it have to do with you? Anyway, you can't play with me. You can't eat the grapes, so you say the grapes are sour." Ling Yun's words made the two angry. They were jealous of Qin Feng. In any case, Ling Yun was a genius disciple of the Spirit Beast sect. Her beauty was outstanding, and her figure was indescribable. Who would have thought that she would be casually toyed with by a mere county magistrate surnamed Xiao? As for the other disciples, they didn't even dare to fantasize. "The elders sent us here to inquire about the military situation. But you're messing around here. If the elders hear about this, you won't have a good ending." Sun Dao complained coldly. Ling Yun said anxiously, "I didn't see you go to inquire about the military situation. You've been eavesdropping at the entrance of the cave, right? You're a perverted but coward." Sun Dao's face darkened. He pulled out his sword and attacked. "You said I'm a coward? I'll let you know my power today." Ling Yun was shocked. She couldn't use her true qi now. Seeing that the sword was about to pierce through her, Xie Long suddenly punched Sun Dao back. "What time is it now? You're still fighting among yourselves. The war between the two cities is imminent. We don't even know if we can survive this war. Save your energy to kill the enemy." Sun Dao's strength was inferior to Xie Long. He sheathed his sword and stood aside angrily. Ling Yun broke out in a cold sweat. Fortunately, Xie Long intervened in time. Otherwise, she would have died here. The few of them were a little unhappy, but at this time, Xie Long and Sun Dao's expressions changed. They took out their weapons and looked at the sky behind them. Everyone be careful. There's an enemy coming up. Xia Long, who was at the 5th layer of true qi, was the strongest existence in the group. Just as he finished speaking, a dozen or so black shadows suddenly jumped out from the mountain peak. The first 3 people were extremely fast, and before Xia Long could see them clearly, they were already standing on top of the mountain peak, not far away. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Following that, another dozen or so people jumped up. The number of people on both sides was about the same. Qin Feng had long since looked over there. His heart sank. There were 3 old men with unfathomable strength. Even he couldn't see through their realms. It really is a sacred gate disciple sent from the distant Ice City. One of the old men wearing a green robe was the first to speak. It was Elder Qiao Yi of Ji-Chun. Beside him stood a man and a woman. The man was wearing a red cloak, and his white robe was engraved with the image of a burning cloud. It was Elder Bai Qi of Yinshan. The female Taoist nun was dressed in green, and there was a crescent moon pattern on her arm. She was the old Taoist nun of Moonfall Spring. The expressions of Ling Yun, and the others changed drastically. They had long since recognized Qiao Yi. Qin Fen also recognized Qiao Yi. Not long ago, Qin Fen had fought against him on the beach of Hero City. As for the other 2, this was the first time Qin Fen had met them. However, he could tell which sect they belonged to based on their attire. Is there no one else in the distant Ice City? They only sent you little assassins to scout out the situation? I heard that Ling Chong from the Spirit Beast sect came. Xie Zhuetian from the White Song sect, and Sun, he from the Red Sun sect, also came. Could it be that these 3 old bastards are afraid of us? They don't even dare to show their faces. Qiao Yi and the others had cold and arrogant expressions. They didn't put Ling Yun and the others in their eyes at all. Ling Yun and the others were angry, but they didn't dare to say anything. The 3 in front of them were revered experts at the 6th stage of true qi. They could kill them with a single palm. The atmosphere was somewhat oppressive. Ling Yun and the others didn't dare to say anything for a long time. Ji Chun and Qiao Yi spoke again. You bunch of ants, why aren't you kneeling and begging for mercy? If I'm in a good mood, I can spare your lives. Ling Yun and the others' expressions darkened. They were so angry that their lungs were about to explode. Seeing that they didn't move, Qiao Yi casually slapped down. Before anyone could react, one of the Spirit Beast sect disciples at the 3rd stage of true qi exploded into a pile of flesh and blood. The surroundings immediately became quiet. Only the howling wind could be heard. Ling Yun, and the others' eyes were filled with fear. Some of the disciples' legs started to tremble, and 3 of them ran down the mountain. Want to run? Do you think we don't exist? You Luo Quan's Taoist nun fan, you swept the horsetail whisk in her hand. 2 of the disciples immediately exploded. Yun Huashan and Bai Qi pointed 2 fingers into the air, and a blue light shot out. Another disciple suddenly fell to the ground and couldn't get up. His blood flowed like a river. 3 experts at the 3rd stage of true qi fell just like that. It all happened in the span of a breath. The strength of Qiao Yi and the others was too strong. Under this intimidation, Ling Yun and the others no longer had the heart to resist. Plop! The 8 or 9 disciples had already knelt on the ground and started kowtowing to the enemy's elders. Ling Yun and the others had faces full of struggle, but in the end, they all succumbed and knelt down. Qiao Yi and the others had a complacent expression on their faces. But halfway through their smiles, Bai Qi's face suddenly turned cold. On the opposite peak, everyone was kneeling in a row. But this stinking brat was still standing straight with a smile on his face. Stinking brat, do you want to die? Bai Qi roared angrily, like a muffled thunder falling from the sky. Ling Yun, and the others also realized that Qin Feng was still standing. They were depressed to death. First, this person pretended to be pretentious in front of them. Not long ago, he pretended to be pretentious in front of the 3 great elders of distant Ice City. Now, he pretended to be pretentious in front of the great elder of Meteor City. Lord Xiao, hurry up and kneel. Ling Yun couldn't help but remind him. She didn't care about Qin Feng's life or death. She was mainly afraid that Qin Feng would anger the opposite elder. At that time, everyone would be in trouble. 3 great elders, don't be angry. That brat is just a county magistrate. His status is low, and he doesn't know your esteemed status. Xia Long hurriedly put in a good word. Sun Dao echoed, and that guy is a bit retarded. Not long ago, he almost quarreled with our Red Sun sect's great elder Sun He. Chapter 1371. The Sacred Gate disciples from Distant Eye City were infuriated by Qin Feng's behavior. But Qin Feng suddenly shouted, "Why should we kneel and beg for mercy? Why don't you take a piss and look at yourself first? What is your meteor city? How can the 3 sacred gates compare to our Distant Eye City?" Qin Feng's words stunned everyone. Ling Yun, and the others trembled in fear and felt death approaching. Xiao Yi and the other 2 elders were stunned. Disbelief flashed through their eyes, and they even suspected that there was something wrong with their ears. "Trash ant, I'll show you what Mount Yunhua is capable of." White Blaze waved her hand, and a blue sword beam shot out from her sleeve. Just as it was about to pierce through Qin Feng's head, Xiao Yi casually slapped it away, and the sword beam landed on the ground beside them, blasting a hole in the mountain peak. Bai Qi was stunned. She glared at Xiao Yi and shouted, "Xiao, what do you mean by this? Are you siding with an outsider?" Ji Chun and Xiao Yi glared at Bai Qi coldly and said, "I, Ji Chun, am the leader of Meteor City's Sacred Gate. My sect master has given the order that this city battle will be carried out in the form of a duel between experts. I don't want to fight to the death." The meaning of Xiao Ye's words was clear enough. Bai Qi and Fan Yu's expressions turned ugly, but they didn't attack again. They had only killed a few ordinary disciples from Distant Eye City as a show. They wouldn't really start a massacre, because that would mean that they would fight to the death. However, Qin Feng's words were too arrogant. Xiao Yi shouted with a cold face, "Stinking brat, you're just a county magistrate. How dare you look down on the sacred gate of Meteor City? If you don't kneel, do you believe that I won't slap you to death?" Xiao Yi was a powerful cultivator at the 6th layer of true qi. Just his aura alone was enough to make Ling Yun, and the others gasp for breath. They secretly gave Qin Feng meaningful looks. "Look at the situation right now. Can't you fucking calm down a little?" However, Qin Feng held his head high and said, "I don't believe it." Huh? Everyone couldn't help but be puzzled. Xiao Ye's old eyes almost fell to the ground. Fan Yu and White Blaze were so angry that they started to smile coldly. Without waiting for Xiao Yi to make a move, Ling Yun already shouted, "Elder Xiao, why you can't kill Magistrate Xiao? He's the illegitimate son of our Spirit Beast sect's Grand Elder Ling Chong." In a moment of desperation, Ling Yun could tell any lie she wanted. She didn't really care about Qin Feng's life and death. She just couldn't watch as the spiritual weapons and spiritual pills disappeared just like that. Everyone was stunned again. Even Sun Dao and Xia Long stole a glance at Ling Yun in disbelief. However, the 2 of them quickly recovered. Their thoughts were exactly the same as Ling Yun's. Yes. Xiao Zhixian is the illegitimate son of Grand Elder Ling Chong. Even the Sacred Gate of Distant Eye City knows about this. 3 elders, please let us go. If you really kill us, this city war will not end until one of us is dead. Xia Long and Sun Dao also started to plead for mercy. The 2 of them weren't stupid. When they heard Xiao Yi say that they wanted to use the city war method, they used the threat of not ending until they die to scare him. Xiao Yi and the other 2 were still in a daze. They still had doubts about Qin Feng being Ling Chong's illegitimate son. However, the situation was special. They would rather believe it than not. If Qin Feng was really Ling Chong's illegitimate son, killing him now would be troublesome. Why you're really Ling Chong's illegitimate son? White Blaze couldn't help but ask. Qin Feng was speechless at Ling Yun. He glared at White Blaze and said, "And who are you?" White Blaze couldn't stand Qin Feng's arrogance. He suppressed his anger and said, "I'm Cloud Volcano's elder White Blaze." "Oh, you're an idiot. This name suits your temperament very well." White Blaze's expression changed. She jumped up and down in anger. "Are you deaf? My name is White Blaze. Blaze as in blazing. For sounds, you're an idiot. I know you're an idiot." Qin Feng had an indifferent attitude. White Blaze was fuming with anger. Ling Yun'er and the others looked at him dumbfoundedly. They began to suspect that this brat was here to court death. Whoosh! Just as the atmosphere was about to explode, a pink light flashed. White Blaze's expression changed drastically. He slapped Sun Dao, who was kneeling on the ground. "Brat, you dare to plot against me?" Boom! The cosmic flying sword missed its target and smashed a mountaintop. At the same time, Sun Dao's body was also smashed. This true Qi level 4 expert didn't know what happened before he died. He was already kneeling on the ground and begging for mercy. Why did he still want to kill him? White Blaze's palm completely turned the tide of the battle. Ling Yun'er and Xie Long drew their swords. They thought that the other party was going to kill them. The 8 or 9 disciples also flew up, ready to fight to the death. Rumble. For a moment, the mountain was filled with loud noises. The disciples from the 3 sacred gates of Distant Eye City were only at the 3rd or 4th level of true Qi. They couldn't even withstand a single blow from Qiao Yi and the other 2 old monsters who were at the 6th level of true Qi. Xie Long was the strongest, but he was only at the 5th level of true Qi. After enduring a few moves, he was smashed into pieces by Qiao Yi. Ling Yun'er died even faster. When she raised her sword and rushed to the front of the opponent's disciple, she suddenly remembered that the true Qi in her body was sealed by poison. There was no need for Qiao Yi and the other 2 elders to do anything. The group of Sacred Gate disciples from Meteor City would kill her. This battle started because of Qin Feng's flying sword. But at this moment, he was nowhere to be seen at the peak of MT visualization. Not good. Ling Chong's illegitimate son escaped. Xiao Yi's expression changed drastically. White Blaze looked at the scattered flesh and blood around him and was slightly worried. Looks like this city battle will not end until one side is dead. Who was the one who attacked just now? Fan Yu had already calmed down. Suspicion arose in her heart. The 2 of them looked at White Blaze. It was White Blaze who attacked first. White Blaze looked at the location of Sun Dao's corpse. His expression changed unpredictably. His eyes lit up as if he suddenly realized something. He was so angry that the veins on his face bulged. The flying sword was shot from Sun Dao's direction, so White Blaze naturally thought that it was a sneak attack. Now that he thought about it, Qin Feng was standing behind Sun Dao. Ling Chong's illegitimate son is too cunning. He has been hiding his strength. That sword was a sneak attack. White Blaze suddenly shouted. Xiao Yi and Fan Yu's expressions changed. The 3 of them could tell that Qin Feng was just an ordinary person without any true Qi. It was also because of this that White Blaze didn't think that Qin Feng was the one who shot the sword at White Blaze. That was why he was in such an irreversible situation. What a Qiao. It must be Ling Chong who ordered that brat to do this. Looks like Distant Eye City has already decided to fight until one side is dead. Let's retreat. I'll go back and report this to the sect leader. Xiao Yi leaped and flew down the mountain. At the same time, Qin Feng also descended the mountain. Ling Chong and the others immediately surrounded him. Why is it only you who came down? Where are Ling Yun'er and the others? Ling Chong glared at Qin Feng coldly. From the beginning to the end, he didn't care about a mere county magistrate. Qin Feng said with a panicked expression, "No, it's bad. The Sacred Gate of Meteor City is going to start a massacre. They won't stop until one side is dead. The few of us had just ascended the mountain, and that elder Qiao Yi brought people to kill Ling Yun'er and the others without saying anything. What? Is what you said true?" Ling Chong roared angrily. It was as if the earth was shaking. The disciples from the Sacred Gate all had bitter expressions. The able-bodied men who were captured were even more disheartened. Everyone was afraid that the battle would not stop until one side was dead. Anyone would be afraid of death. Ling Chong's expression changed. He suddenly glared at Qin Feng. That's not right. If they were going to fight until one side is dead, how did you escape? Everyone cast doubtful gazes at Qin Feng. They could tell that Qin Feng didn't have any true qi waves on him. He was just an ordinary person. Even Ling Yuner and the others had died. How did Qin Feng escape? Great Elder Ling Chong. Those people let me go because I don't have any martial arts. They let me come back to pass the message. That old man called Xiao Yi is too arrogant. He said that he wanted to massacre Distant Eye City. He wanted the sacred gate to surrender quickly. Otherwise, they would all die under his blade. Qin Feng had already thought of an excuse on the way back. Originally, the sacred gates of both cities hoped that the battle would be carried out through a battle between experts. Now that Qin Feng had sowed dissension, it had reached the point where one side would not stop until one side was dead. Ling Chong stared at Qin Feng for a long time. He suddenly roared toward the sky. Damn that Ji Chun! He dares to not put my spirit beast sect in his eyes. I will go back and report to the sect leader. We will fight until one side is dead. After Qin Feng's provocation, the top elders of both sides rushed back to their sects to report the situation. It seemed like a huge battle could break out at any time. The troops of both sides were only separated by a mountain. Without Ling Chong's command, everyone held back. Qin Feng ran to the group of able-bodied men, counting Magistrate Xiao. As soon as he arrived, the group of able-bodied men immediately greeted him respectfully. Although the Sacred Gate disciples looked down on Qin Feng's status as a county magistrate, these poor people were very afraid of him. County Magistrate Xiao, are we really going to fight until one side is dead? A burly man walked to Qin Feng's side. What is your name? Qin Feng asked. The burly man immediately answered, Lord Xiao, this lowly one is Gao Jin. I am a villager from Miao Village in West Town. Qin Feng had stayed in West Town for a period of time. He had heard about the 3 villages. Apart from Hua Village, where Hua Xiaojin was, there was also Miao Village and Water Village. Gao Jin looked honest. He trembled in fear when he spoke to Qin Feng. He should be a practical man who was willing to endure hardship. However, he was captured to be an able-bodied man because of the war between the 2 cities. Qin Feng thought of the second side mission of the city war. He was asked to protect the poor people and change their rigid mindset. Qin Feng came to this group of able-bodied men to complete this mission. Gao Jin, it has been confirmed that the 2 cities will fight until one side is dead. Ling Chong has already gone back to the sect to ask the sect leader. When he returns, it will be the start of the war. When that time comes, everyone will die, Qin Feng said. Chapter 1372. Qin Feng saw the desire to die in Gao Jin's eyes and continued, Do you want to live? Gao Jin was stunned. He looked at Qin Feng dumbfoundedly and nodded. I want to live. Then let's escape tonight. Let's take everyone with us. Qin Feng already had a series of plans in mind. Tonight was the best time for Gao Jin to escape with the able-bodied men. However, Gao Jin was shocked and immediately knelt in front of Qin Feng. Magistrate Xiao, please spare my life. I shouldn't have thought of living. I will fight to the death for Distant Eye City. Qin Feng was stunned. He was almost amused by the conservative mindset of the people in China. What kind of people were they? Hurry and stand up. Do you want to live or not? Qin Feng's face darkened. Gao Jin didn't dare to stand up. He knelt on the ground while shivering. I know Magistrate Xiao is testing my will. Don't worry, I won't have any thoughts of living anymore. Qin Feng couldn't bear to listen any longer. He wanted to slap this man awake. He forcefully pulled Gao Jing up and whispered in his ear, I'm not testing you. You want to live, and I also want to live. Everyone is born equal. Why is the life of a sacred gate disciple so precious? Why are people from the Yamen superior to others? Even if you don't want to live, you have to think about your family, right? If you really die, what will happen to them? As a hedonistic young master, Qin Feng rarely educated people. He was always flirting with them. Gao Jin stared at Qin Feng as if he had seen a ghost. He even suspected that Qin Feng had a problem with his brain. How could he say such disgraceful words? Moreover, weren't you from Yamen? Why were you scolding me? Magistrate Xiao, I still can't escape. As a lowly commoner, my life is in the hands of the Yamen and the Sacred Gate. Now that the two cities are at war, I have to fight. Qin Feng felt his chest tighten. He was so angry that he almost vomited blood. Fuck you. I've been reasoning with you for so long. Why can't you understand? What lowly commoner? What life is in the hands of others? Even if you help them conquer the city, it won't be yours. You're still trash at the bottom, a dog ordered around by those people. In a fit of anger, Qin Feng's tone was a little harsh. For the first time, a hint of anger appeared in Gao Jing's eyes. He clenched his fists tightly and looked like he was going to hit Qin Feng. However, it was only for a moment, and he returned to his yes-man appearance. Don't say any more, Xiao Zixin. I won't run away. Qin Feng was so angry that he had internal injuries. He coldly tossed out his last words. Think carefully. If you want to escape, escape with everyone tonight. If you don't escape, you'll die on the battlefield. At that time, your wife will be played by others, your daughter will be sold to a brothel, and your son will continue to be suppressed like you. This is the result you want. Qin Feng angrily swung his sleeves and left. Gao Jin stood in the crowd with bloodshot eyes, unable to regain his senses for a long time. There was still no movement from the troops on either side. Qin Feng found a place with no one and stepped on his flying sword to the summit of Sunset Peak. He looked at the dense mass of people at the foot of the mountain and jumped down without hesitation. Who is it? Oh no, the enemy has made a move, someone among the soldiers of Meteor City shouted. Instantly, the tens of thousands of people went into an uproar. The sound of weapons clashing and all sorts of screams could be heard. Two figures landed beside Qin Feng. The moment they saw Qin Feng, they were infuriated. Brat, you still dare to come back? This is what you get for framing me. I'll kill you with my sword. Fan Yu stood at the side with a cold expression. Bai Qi had already swung his sword, but Qin Feng stood still at the foot of the mountain. He said, I want to see Ji Chen sect leader. I have a way to help you win this battle. I'm an idiot if I believe you again. Bai Qi didn't stop. Seeing that his sword was about to pierce through Qin Feng, Fan Yu waved her horsetail whisk and stopped him. You're an idiot. I already knew that, Qin Feng said as if nothing had happened. Bai Qi was so angry that his lungs were about to explode. He glared at Fan Yu and shouted, You better move away, or else I won't be polite. Fan Yu was speechless at Qin Feng's words. She stood in front of Qin Feng and said, Don't be so agitated. Let's listen to this brat's plan first. What plan can he have? He's from Distant Eye City, and he's the illegitimate son of that old fart, Ling Chong. Do you think he'll help Meteor City? Bai Qi didn't believe Qin Feng, even if he was beaten to death. Fan Yu didn't believe it either. But now that the two cities were at war, Fan Yu was worried. She placed her hope on Qin Feng. If Qin Feng was lying, she could just kill him with another sword. Don't mention that bastard Ling Chong to me. He caused so much trouble for me and my mother. I want to kill him with my own hands. Qin Feng's face suddenly turned sinister, giving Fan Yu and Bai Qi a fright. Keep pretending, you brat. Do you think I'll believe you with just a few words? Unless I'm Bai. Bai Qi swallowed the last word. He didn't think there was anything wrong with his name, but now he wanted to change it. Fan Yu ignored Bai Qi and glared at Qin Feng. Tell me what plan you have. If you're lying, I'll kill you with one palm. Qin Feng acted as if he didn't hear Fan Yu's threat. I said we'll talk when we meet Ji Chen's sect leader. Even if I tell you now, you won't be able to make the decision. You'll have to report to the sect leader. Why make it so troublesome? Fan Yu was so angry that her face turned pale. She almost couldn't control herself and slapped Qin Feng to death. Bai Qi shouted again, You saw it too. Look at how capable this brat is. Does he really think he's a big deal? Let me kill him with one sword. Qin Feng leisurely stood at the foot of the mountain, allowing Bai Qi and Fan Yu to quarrel. In the end, Bai Qi took a step back. He didn't want to see the two cities fight to the death. Bai Qi stayed behind to continue guarding the Sunset Visualization Mountain, while Fan Yu brought Qin Feng to where Ji Chun was. Qin Feng's heart was filled with excitement. He had been searching for the location of the sect in the Despair Realm, and now he finally found one. At the same time, The main hall of Ji Chen's sect was filled with people. Not only Elder Ji Chun, but there were also people from Cloud Volcano and Yu Luoquan. Those who could stand in the hall were all important people from the three sections. The great elder stood in a row, while the junior elder stood outside as guards. Even the sect leaders of the three sects were gathered here. A white-haired old man sat on a stone lion chair in the main hall. He looked very weak, but he was Ji Chen's sect leader, Ji Hun. There were two people sitting at the front of the stone chairs. The man was Cloud Volcano's sect leader, Bai Xingdo, and the woman was Yu Luochuan's sect leader, Lady Fan. Xiao Yu was standing in the middle of the main hall. He had just finished reporting the situation in Distant Eye City. The atmosphere in the main hall was heavy. All the elders and sect leaders were frowning. With their current status and power, who would be willing to fight to the death? The Spirit Beast sect thinks too highly of themselves, don't they? Threatening us with a fight to the death. Do they really think we're afraid of them? After a long while, Xiao Hun slapped the stone chair and stood up. The sturdy stone lion immediately shattered into pieces. Sect leader Xiao, we need to analyze the situation calmly. We can't lose our composure. Yu Luochuan's sect leader, Lady Fan, immediately stood up and advised. The people sitting in the row all stood up. Bai Xingdo echoed Lady Fan's words and said, Lady Fan is right. Our three sacred sects have been rooted in Meteor City for decades. Now that our foundation is stable and we're developing rapidly, how can we be destroyed just like that? If we really fight to the death with Distant Eye City, even if we win in the end, the sacred sects from the other cities will come to reap the benefits. The rest of the people nodded, expressing their agreement with Lady Fan and Bai Xingdo's words. However, everyone's status was too low, so no one dared to speak up. Xiao Hun, on the other hand, calmed down a little. He suddenly looked at Xiao Yi and said, I clearly told you to negotiate and start the war with experts. How did it become a fight to the death? The three sects of the Spirit Beast sect are not brainless people. Xiao Hun's words made everyone realize that there was indeed something fishy going on. Everyone looked at Xiao Yi, and he was so scared that he almost knelt down. Sect leader Xiao, it's Ling Chong's illegitimate son. Xiao Hun and the other two sect leaders were shocked. They knew who Ling Chong was, but when did he have an illegitimate son outside? What illegitimate son? Who was that guy? Xiao Hun roared angrily, and the entire hall shook. However, before Xiao Yi could speak, a young elder from Ji Chun walked in from outside. Sect leader Xiao, Elder Fan Yu of Moonfall Spring requests an audience. She said that she brought Ling Chong's illegitimate son here. Time in the hall seemed to have stopped for a few seconds. Everyone was talking about Qin Feng, but Fan Yu had already brought him over. Xiao Hun gave the order, and Fan Yu had already brought Qin Feng into the hall. Inside the house were the great elder and the sect leader. Even with little elder Fan Yu's status, she was only a lackey. The moment Qin Feng entered the house, he was shocked. The true energy in the house was surging and surging, as if it was boundless and boundless like the vast ocean. There were even three people whose strength Qin Feng couldn't see clearly. Everyone's gazes fell on Qin Feng, making him slightly nervous. The weakest person in the hall was at the 5th stage of true energy, and the strongest three were at an unknown level. Qin Feng felt that even if he brought out the Black Dragon tank, he might not have a chance of winning. This is Ling Chong's illegitimate son? Is his identity fake? Xiao Hun asked coldly. Fan Yu's voice trembled slightly. Replying sect leader Xiao. He is indeed Ling Chong's illegitimate son. How would Fan Yu know if Qin Feng was Ling Chong's illegitimate son? But even if he wasn't, she still had to admit it. It would be very scary to anger sect leader Xiao Hun. Chapter 1373. Just as Xiao Hun finished speaking, two of Ji Chen's junior elders entered the room. Without another word, they escorted Qin Feng out of the room. Fan Yu said, Xiao, sect leader Xiao, calm down. This kid says he wants to discuss something with you. Everyone was shocked as they looked at Fan Yu with strange expressions. The sect master of Yu Luoquan, Fairy Fan, had a cold expression as she shouted, Fan Yu, what are you doing? Sect leader Qiao Hun is an illegitimate son of Ling Chong. Does he deserve to talk to you? Fan Yu trembled in fear. She naturally knew of Qiao Hun's esteemed status. He was practically the king of Meteor City. However, the war between the two cities was critical and no one wanted to fight to the death. Qin Feng said he had a way to help Meteor City win. That was why she took the risk to bring Qin Feng here. Sect leader Immortal, please calm down. This kid said he has a way to help Meteor City win. Fan Yu said hurriedly. The huge hall suddenly fell silent. Everyone stared at Fan Yu with different expressions. Some even suspected that there was something wrong with the nun's head. Bastard. That kid is Ling Chong's illegitimate son. Why would he help Meteor City? Hurry up and take him to the prison. I'll kill anyone who dares to say another word. Qiao Hun's enraged roar was so powerful that it caused the great elders to shudder in fear. Lady Immortal and Bai Xingdou didn't dare to speak anymore. Fan Yu was so scared that her legs trembled and she almost knelt down. Ji Qin's junior elder had already left with Qin Feng. Qin Feng suddenly said, Sect leader Qiao, are you really going to miss the chance to defeat Distant Eye City? Do you want to fight to the death? Everyone in the room had a cold expression and dozens of murderous auras shot toward Qin Feng. Qin Feng acted as if he didn't see it and continued. Forget it. Since sect leader Qiao doesn't believe me, I won't say any more. Everyone was speechless. They didn't know what Qin Feng was thinking. Did he think they were 3-year-olds? Seeing that he was being escorted to the door, Qiao Hun suddenly shouted, Wait! Let's hear what this kid has to say first. Everyone in the hall was stunned and looked at Qiao Hun in surprise. He actually believed Ling Chong's illegitimate son? Without waiting for Qin Feng to speak, Fairy Fan stepped forward and said, Sect leader Qiao Hun, please reconsider. Bai Xingdou also said, This kid was obviously sent by the enemy to disrupt our morale. Sect leader Qiao, don't believe his nonsense. Bai Xingdou and Lady Fan weren't the only ones who didn't believe him. The elders in the room were also shaking their heads. However, their status was limited, so they didn't even dare to say anything. Humph! He's just an ant that hasn't even stepped into the realm of true qi. If he really dares to play any tricks, I could destroy him at any time. Qiao Hun had a nonchalant look on his face, as though he did not care about Qin Feng at all. Lady Fan and Bai Xingdou stopped trying to persuade him. Just as Qiao Hun had said, Qin Feng did not even have any vital qi in his body. What could an ant like him do? Everyone's gaze fell back on Qin Feng. They really wanted to hear what kind of plan he had. This kid really had guts to come to Ji Qin's sect alone. Sect leader Qiao, your sect doesn't want to fight to the death, right? Qin Feng stood at the door with a casual expression, making it more and more difficult for everyone to understand him. Nonsense. No one wants to fight to the death. Qiao Hun revealed an impatient expression. Qin Feng waved his hand and said, Sect leader Qiao, you're wrong. Your Meteor City doesn't want to fight to the death, but the 3 sacred sects of Distant Eye City came to attack the city with the determination to die. Qin Feng's words caused the hall to gasp. Everyone knew from Xiao Yi that Distant Eye City wanted to fight to the death, but it felt completely different when they heard it from Qin Feng's mouth. Is what you said true? Where did you get this information from? Qiao Hun's expression changed as he stared at Qin Feng solemnly. Of course I heard it from the Spirit Beast sect. Now, the sect leader of the Spirit Beast sect is gathering the disciples of the White Song sect and the Red Sun sect. They are expected to attack tonight. The gasps in the hall became even more intense. The elders and even the 3 sect leaders looked flustered. Qiao Hun's eyes lit up, and he suddenly said, Wait, you didn't purposely spread the news, did you? If Distant Eye City really wanted to attack, they would have sent out a declaration of war in advance. Now that Meteor City hasn't received any news, how would they dare to attack? Lady Fan and Bai Xingdou also calmed down. According to the rules of the past city wars, they would send out the attack signal in advance. Bai Xingdou said, Sect leader Qiao, I still don't believe that brat's nonsense. No matter what, he's from Distant Eye City. Why would he be kind enough to help us? Let's take that brat to the prison first, and wait for Ling Chong to come. Lady Fan also expressed her opinion. Xiao Hun didn't rush to make a decision. After hesitating for a while, he said, "Little Aunt, you've been talking nonsense for so long. What's your plan?" Qin Feng said unhurriedly, "According to the information I received, the 3 sacred sects of Distant Eye City are going to attack Jichen tonight. As long as Jichen is killed, Moonfall Spring and Cloudy Volcano are no longer a threat. Sect leader Qiao can lead an elite force to attack the Spirit Beast sect, catch them off guard, and take down their base." Qin Feng had already thought of this plan, but he had offended the 3 sect leaders as soon as he said it. "Brat, how dare you say that my Cloudy Volcano is not a threat? I want to see how capable you are." Bai Xingdo was the first to jump up and slashed at Qin Feng with his saber. Lady Fan waved her horsetail whisk, and several murderous auras flew over. Bai Xingdo attacked, but he wanted to kill Qin Feng first. The great elders had playful looks on their faces, and they looked as if Qin Feng was going to die. However, Xiao Hun was standing in front of Qin Feng out of nowhere and casually dispelled the two's killing moves with 2 palms. Sect leader Xiao. The 2 looked at Xiao Hun in confusion. Xiao Hun waved his long sleeves and said in a deep voice, "This is Ji Chun. Without my order, no one is allowed to do anything." Lady Fan and Bai Xingdo were a little unhappy, but they still returned to their seats. Everyone stared at Qin Feng fiercely. If it wasn't for Xiao Hun, they thought that Qin Feng would have died a few hundred times. "Why should I believe you?" Xiao Hun glared at Qin Feng. "It's up to you whether you believe me or not, sect leader Xiao. Anyway, the war between the 2 cities has nothing to do with me. I'm just a small county magistrate of Far Eye City's West Town. No matter which side wins, I won't get any benefits," Qin Feng said. "Aren't you Ling Chong's illegitimate son? How did you become a county magistrate?" Xiao Hun looked confused. Qin Feng should have joined the Spirit Beast sect to cultivate. However, Xiao Hun suddenly realized that Qin Feng had no true qi on him. He had never cultivated before. Unexpectedly, Qin Feng suddenly flew into a rage. He pointed at Xiao Hun and shouted, "Shut up! Don't mention that bastard Ling Chong." Everyone was shocked, and their eyes and jaws dropped to the ground. Even Bai Xingdo and Lady Fan had to give in to Xiao Hun, and the great elder in the room didn't even dare to speak to Xiao Hun. Who would have thought that Qin Feng would point at Xiao Hun's nose and scold him in front of everyone? Xiao Hun's face darkened, and true qi surged out of his body, pressuring everyone so much that they didn't even dare to breathe. "Brat, do you want to die?" Qin Feng looked at Xiao Hun dumbly and said, "Sect leader Xiao, why are you so angry?" "I'm scolding that bastard Ling Chong, not you." Xiao Hun's face was gloomy, but he didn't want to reprimand Qin Feng. He suddenly looked at Xiao Yi and said, "I asked you to gather information, and you said that the Spirit Beast sect is prepared to fight to the death. Is that true?" Xiao Hun was starting to believe Qin Feng's words. Qin Feng was just an ordinary person who didn't even have the strength to trust a chicken. Why would he lie? Even if Distant Eye City wanted to find someone to sow discord, they should have found someone who was more powerful. Xiao Yi didn't know whether Distant Eye City was prepared to fight to the death or not. In fact, those were just his guesses. He didn't mention that he had killed Ling Yun, and the others, mainly because he was afraid that sect leader Xiao Hun would blame him. Now that he had killed a few of their genius disciples, it was obvious that the situation was going to escalate to the death. Sect leader Xiao, according to my information, Distant Eye City indeed has such intentions. Moreover, Bai Qi and Fan Yu were there at the time. They heard it too. Xiao Yi wasn't stupid. He was going to drag 2 people down with him, even if he was going to die. Bai Qi was still guarding the sunset gazing mountain, but Fan Yu was standing in the house. Her face was cold, and she was so angry that her lungs were about to explode. But since things had already come to this, Fan Yu could only help Xiao Yi lie. After all, she had also killed a disciple of Distant Eye City. Sect leader Xiao, Elder Xiao Yi is speaking the truth. Bai Qi and I heard it too, Fan Yu said. At this moment, everyone was sure that Distant Eye City was going to fight to the death, and their hearts were incomparably worried. Xiao Hun was a little flustered. He suddenly looked at Qin Feng and placed all his hopes on him. After reanalyzing Qin Feng's plan, Xiao Hun felt that it was feasible. As long as they could take down Distant Ice City's biggest sacred sect, Spirit Beast sect, they wouldn't have to fear White Song and Red Sunday sect leaders. What do you think? Xiao Hun still couldn't make up his mind. He looked at Bai Xingdou and Lady Fan. The two of them were also anxious. Bai Xingdou said, "Since it's going to be a fight to the death, why don't we try according to that kid's plan? We won't be at a disadvantage anyway." Lady Fan nodded and said, "We can give it a try. This battle is unavoidable." The two of them had the same thought as Xiao Hun. If the three sacred sects of Distant Ice City wanted to fight to the death, there would be a battle sooner or later. Even if Qin Feng's word were false, they could just kill their way to Spirit Beast sect and start fighting. "All right, I will believe you this once. If you lie to us, I will definitely smash you into pieces." After a moment of silence, Xiao Hun made the final decision. Those great elders had no right to speak. Xiao Hun's words were the law. The battle was imminent. Lady Fan and Bai Xingdou had already left with their people. Since they were going to attack Spirit Beast sect tonight, they would return to the sect to gather the elite disciples. Chapter 1374. Qin Feng had devised a strategy, and this city battle was almost under his control. At the same time, Spirit Beast sect was having an emergency meeting, and the representatives of the three sacred sects were all gathered here. Ling Chong had already explained the situation, and the atmosphere in the hall was heavy. The sacred sects of Meteor City are too arrogant. They killed our disciples without saying a word. Do they think we don't exist? A gray-robed elder suddenly stood up, and his anger reached the sky. This person was the sect master of White Warehouse sect, Xie Qingping. The white-robed elder sitting opposite him also stood up. There was a red sun pattern engraved on his chest, and it was the sect master of Red Sun sect, Sun Ju. "Sect Master Ling, say something. Why don't we attack them at night and annihilate them?" On the high platform sat a white-robed elder. His clothes were engraved with bird and beast patterns. This was the uniform of Spirit Beast sect, and the elder was the sect master of Spirit Beast sect, Ling Jinfeng. The gazes of everyone in the room all landed on Ling Jinfeng, waiting for his command. In comparison, Meteor City's three sacred gates were slightly weaker than Distant Ice City. If they were to fight to the death, would they still be afraid of Meteor City? Ling Jinfeng suddenly stood up, and everyone below the platform stood up as well. He paced to the center of the crowd with his hands behind his back. After a while, he said, "Based on my understanding of Xiao Hun, he won't start a fight to the death. This matter is a little strange. Let's not move first and see what they are up to." With Ling Jinfeng's order, no one dared to object. The elite disciples of the three sacred sects of Distant Ice City gathered in Spirit Beast sect and decided to observe the situation tonight. The night was getting late, and not a single soul could be seen on the streets and alleys of the two cities. The disciples of the sects gathered in the sect and prepared to depart. The able-bodied men who were captured stood guard at the foot of MT Sunset. The poor people hid in their homes and didn't dare to go out. The night seemed peaceful, but a great battle was about to begin. A half-moon rose into the sky. Gao Jin sat at the foot of the cliff, looked up at the moon, and lowered his head to think of his hometown. Ever since Qin Feng told him that in the afternoon, Gao Jin couldn't calm down. His mind was filled with his wife's smile, his elderly mother's hunched back, and the crying of his newborn child. He suddenly began to question his own thoughts. Why did he have to fight to the death? What did the sacred gate and the yamen give him? "Zhang, are you asleep?" Gao Jing's expression changed as if he had made the most difficult and important decision in his life. A brawny man beside him rubbed his sleepy eyes and said, "What's wrong, Gao Jin? Why aren't you sleeping?" "I heard that the war is going to start tomorrow. You have to be mentally prepared." Gao Jin interrupted Zhang and whispered in his ear, "Let's not fight anymore. Let's escape to our hometown tonight." Zhang suddenly jumped up, and his sleepiness was gone. He stared at Gao Jin as if he had seen a ghost. Are you crazy? Why would you have such an idea? Gao Jin seemed to see his past self. He finally understood why County Magistrate Xiao was so angry before he left. At this moment, Gao Jin was also very angry. He wanted to wake Zhang Zhong up with a slap. He didn't waste any more words and told Zhang Zhong what Qin Feng had said before he left. Zhang Zhong, after you die, your wife will be played by others, your parents will starve to death, your daughter will become a prostitute, and your son will have the same fate as you, being oppressed by others. If that's what you want, then continue sleeping. Gao Jin had already swung his sleeves and left angrily. Zhang Zhong was so stunned that he couldn't come back to his senses. After a moment, he suddenly raised his head and looked at the half-moon in the sky. His expression changed slightly, and he ran to kick the man beside him to wake him up. Black Yak, I won't waste any more words with you. If you die, your wife will be played by others, your parents will starve to death, your daughter will become a prostitute, and your son will have the same fate as you. If that's what you want, then wait for the battle tomorrow. I'm going to escape. Black Yak rubbed his sleepy eyes and still hadn't come back to his senses. He saw Gao Jin and Zhang Zhong's figures shuttling through the crowd. Every time they pulled up a person, they would repeat what they just said. The words that came out of Qin Feng's mouth became a sharp weapon that awakened the warrior's sealed thoughts. It was like a dagger that sliced open everyone's brains and cut off all the distorted thoughts that had been sealed for a long time. For a moment, tens of thousands of able-bodied men from all over Distant Eye City were shaken. With Gao Jin as their leader, they knocked out a few Holy Gate disciples who were guarding the area and fled in panic. Big brother Gao Jin, where are you going? Zhang Zhong met Gao Jin again in the chaos and saw him climbing up Mt. Guanxia. Gao Jin's expression was resolute, as if he had changed into a different person overnight. The able-bodied men of Meteor City are as innocent as we are. I'm going to wake them up. Seeing that Gao Jin had already disappeared into the night, Zhang Zhong gritted his teeth and followed him. Under the duo's efforts, the tens of thousands of able-bodied men from Meteor City started to resist. The battle between the two sides hadn't even started, but the able-bodied men had already fled in different directions. A group of people rushed over from Meteor City. When they arrived at the foot of Mt. Guanxia, they were stunned. Other than a few Holy Gate disciples who had been knocked out, the able-bodied men were nowhere to be seen. Xiao Yi, what's going on? This group of people was led by Xiao Han. They were the Holy Gate disciples of Meteor City who were preparing to attack the Spirit Beast Sex base during the night. Xiao Yi was already dumbfounded. He remembered that everything was still fine before he returned to the sect. Where did the 10,000 able-bodied men go? Sect Master Qiao, I don't know either. I've been in the sect all afternoon. Qiao Yi was so depressed that he was about to cry. Qin Feng heaved a long sigh of relief. It seemed like he hadn't wasted his time talking to Gao Jin. Fan Yu was also dumbfounded. She didn't understand the situation. At this moment, a black shadow flew over. Just as Xiao Han was about to slash with his blade, he heard the person shouting, "Everyone, don't attack. I'm Elder Bai Qi from Mount Cloud Mountain." Bai Qi's figure landed in front of the crowd. Bai Xingdo hurriedly asked, "Bai Qi, what's going on here?" Bai Qi held a long sword in his hand. There were some bloodstains on his body. It seemed like he had just fought with someone. In reply to Sect Master, the able-bodied men rebelled. They knocked out a few Holy Gate disciples. I chased after them and killed dozens of them, but most of them escaped. The night was already cold and quiet. Bai Qi's words caused the surroundings to sink into a strange atmosphere. The eyes of Qiao Han and the others fell to the ground. The able-bodied men escaped. This was even more terrifying than Qin Feng joining Meteor City. The able-bodied men were a bunch of stubborn commoners who always obeyed the Holy Gate's orders. Did they take the wrong medicine tonight? Xiao Han only came back to his senses after a long while. He had already cast aside the able-bodied men. The war between the two cities was originally a competition between the Holy Gate's forces. As for those able-bodied men, they were just there to make up the numbers. Speed up and kill our way into the Spirit Beast sect. Xiao Yi gave the order, and the group set off again. A Spirit Beast sect disciple was leading the group. This person was a spy that Ji Chun had planted in the Spirit Beast sect. When everyone crossed the sunset gazing mountain, they were stunned again. They realized that the able-bodied men from distant Eye City had also escaped. Hundreds of horses galloped under the night sky. Those who could join the assault team were all great elders and little elders of the three sections. There were only a few so-called genius disciples. After rushing through the night, everyone arrived at the city gate of the Spirit Beast sect. Qin Feng's eyes flickered. He had finally found a location of the Spirit Beast sect. It was time to avenge Qiao Shi and rescue the Qiao family of the Spirit Beast Master Clan. Roar, roar. Just as the group steadied themselves outside the gate, the angry roars of a few wild beasts pierced through the silent night sky like surging thunder. Everyone's expression changed. Qiao Hun leaped off his horse and roared. The beasts raised by the Spirit Beast sect are really annoying. Everyone, kill your way in. The beasts were alarmed. The Spirit Beast sect disciples would definitely notice the situation. Qiao Hun didn't wait for them to react and gave the order to attack. Over 100 true Qi experts flew away. They were as nimble and light as 100 swallows in the night sky. The sounds of fighting and killing could already be heard from within the city gate. The beasts' roars were even more ferocious, and the ground was shaking from the movement of their running. Qiao Hun and the other two sect masters didn't move. They stood outside the city gate and observed the situation. Qiao Hun leaped to Qin Feng's side and pressed his shoulder. "Stinking brat, if you dare to play tricks on me, I'll crush you into pieces with a light pinch. Don't worry, Sect Master Qiao. The Spirit Beast sect's defenses are weak now. All the experts are on their way to MT Divine Dawn. You three sect masters should attack as well." And this quickly, Qin Feng started to feel nervous. This was Ji Chen's sect master. His strength was unfathomable. Qin Feng was trying to think of a way to escape. Qiao Hun's expression was cold. He suddenly stared at the Spirit Beast sect's city gate and shouted, "Ling Jinfeng bastard, your grandfather Qiao Hun is here to destroy your sect. Come out and accept your death." Rumble. Just as he shouted, a muffled thunder seemed to fall from the sky. A huge palm print appeared in the void. It was as if Buddha's 5 fingers mountain had descended to the world. It flew towards them with a violent true qi. "Qiao, you're courting death." Rumble. The huge palm print landed on the ground, creating a 10-meter-long crater. Qiao Hun and the other 2 sect masters had already left. They stood at the edge of the crater and looked at the sky. 3 black figures shot out like arrows. The moment they landed, the ground beneath their feet cracked. Qiao Hun's expression changed. He shouted, "Xie Qingping? Seeking arts? You 2 old farts are here too? Sure enough, you guys want to fight to the death." Qiao Hun clearly misunderstood Ling Jinfeng and the other 2 sect masters' intentions. Ling Jinfeng said angrily, "Qiao, you've already killed your way into my sect. Why are you still spouting so much nonsense? Tonight, only one of us will die." Both sides didn't understand the situation. They thought that the other party was going to fight to the death. The battle at the city gate was already heated. Blades flashed and swords flashed. Screams of agony could be heard. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.